Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible, overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford.
That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ann, who broke her leg in a trip and fall accident.
I had broken my femur and I was in horrific pain. We chose Iddens because they had a good reputation. I wasn't just a name, I was a person, and that makes a big difference. I'm just grateful that we had the settlement for my care. I'm very pleased.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Immaculate greens, unrivaled natural beauty, championship caliber conditions. Loomis Trail is the epitome of Northwest golf. With water in play on nearly every hole and tree-lined fairways, Loomis Trail provides a fantastic golf experience for those that want a challenge and those looking for a fun getaway. What round are you up for? Tee times available online at golfloomis.com. Start planning your perfect golf getaway today.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Saturday night, October 25th. Experience the thrill and excitement of high-energy mixed martial arts. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this amazing professional mixed martial arts event, the World Fighting Championships, October 25th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
And now, tales of another way. You're packing for a trip. Stuffing clothes in a suitcase works mostly. but such chaos in your carry-on. Then you try packing cubes. Organization? Meet harmony. Sometimes another way is the better way. Like the new SR 509 Expressway, the alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads, plus provide better access to the ports. It's open now. Try it free through summer. Learn more at goodtogo509.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, your Mariners just showed up in Detroit and left the best team in the American League lying on the ground with their mouth open in shock. The demolished Tigers did not know what to do. My gosh, Mariners just battered them over and over and over and over again and over and over and over. 11 home runs leads to 35 runs on the weekend. Here's one of them.
Pitch to Julio, swung on and destroyed. Left field, this is so far gone near the scoreboard in left field. That was hit to the moon. Julio with a demolished home run to left. It silences the building, and he is homered in a big way in the second day in a row.
Yeah, he would do it again yesterday, so 3 in 3 days for Julio Rodriguez. Oh, yeah, he went 6 for 12 during the series. I'll read you all the stats later. They're insane. I mean, he just tore apart Tiger pitching, but he wasn't the only one. Randy got it done. Cal got it done. Cole Young got it done. Like, you name it, they had Mitch Garver had a big home run in the series. Like, everybody contributed to this one. Just a ridiculous pummeling of the Tigers. So, Mariners get to the All-Star break at 51-45. They trail Houston by 5 games in the division. It's a game and a half ahead of Tampa for the final wild card spot as the Red Sox swept aside the Rays. So Red Sox move up, Rays move back, and Mariners kind of find themselves right back there in position again. As for Cal, finishes the first half with 38 home runs after cranking 2 on Friday night. That is 1 behind Barry Bonds' record of 39 in 2001. Though it's fair to say the Giants had only played 87 games at that point, whereas the Mariners have played 96, so it's not quite the same thing, but still pretty cool.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
With the third pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the Seattle Mariners select Cade Anderson, a left-handed pitcher from LSU.
That's right. Mariners managed to get Cade Anderson, widely viewed to be the best player in this draft, and they get him at number 3. They had lucked into the number 3 pick, moving up 12 spots in the lottery. Yesterday, they lucked into Cade Anderson again. Just amazing. Tremendous fortune for the Mariners. Left-handed pitcher out of LSU, believed to be the top pitcher in the class, widely expected to go first or second. When he didn't, it became a pretty easy choice for the Mariners to snag him. He's really good, throws 4 pitches. His slider's a big one. Here he is talking about it.
Yeah, I think I give a lot of credit to my coaches at LSU. For me to be where I'm at, I wouldn't be where I'm at without them. And I have a 4-seam fastball, curveball, slider, and changeup. And last year I didn't have a slider, and I think the slider for me has been a really big upgrade for me. And I think that's why I'm at where I'm at. And being able to talk to y'all as the 3rd overall pick is a big reason why was that slider. And just to be fortunate enough to kind of be around my teammates and learn from everyone that I've been surrounded by. And you never take anything for granted, and just super pumped up for the next chapter.
Well, as he should be. Pretty darn cool to have him joining this organization that already has Ryan Sloan and Jurangelo Saintia, plus all the big league guys in their rotation. And then you get to all the other hitters in their top. I mean, just a ridiculous organization right now. Anderson, only 21, dominated this past season, 12-1 with an ERA just over 3 and 180 strikeouts. Also dominated on the biggest stage in Omaha, helping the Tigers win the College World Series with, a complete game shutout. No biggie. Love that pick. Also at number 35. This actually might be my favorite. Big left-handed hitting power catcher out of North Carolina named his name is Luke Stevenson. But he's like non-switch hitting baby Cal Raleigh. It's crazy. Big old butt on this dude. Little dumper, bigger dumper, I don't know, but he's
Dumper Jr. now?
Yes. Go take a look at Luke Stevenson. Second rounder was high school shortstop Nick Becker out of New Jersey, and then in the 3rd they get a pitcher from Miami who actually had more losses than wins and an ERA over 4, so I'm just going to assume he's the next Brian Wu.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All right, tonight, Cal takes a shot at the Derby, where I would think he's one of the favorites, given that he's leading the league in home runs. No catchers ever won the event, though Adley Rutschman gave it a good shot a couple of years ago. Both of them, of course, switch hitters. Rutschman switch hit in the Derby. Still curious. Cal looks more locked in from the right side right now than the left. Does that mean he's going to hit right-handed in the Derby? By the way, a little easier, I think, to hit home runs to left field in Atlanta. So we're curious how Cal handles all that. And this happened on Friday after we were gone, but I just wanted to offer belated congrats to Randy Arozarena, replacing Julio Rodriguez on the AL squad for tomorrow night's All-Star game. Yes, there's ups and downs, but the numbers are tremendous. Highest OPS of his career right now, 16 home runs. The on-base percentage hovering over 350, close to 360. Really good base running. The defense has not been bad. I mean, it's been okay. He makes a couple mistakes, but he makes some great plays as well. And he just seems happier this year. Julio said on Saturday that, yeah, there was a sense this could happen.
To be honest, like the morning before we went out to breakfast and we talked a little bit about my decision and all that. And I thought he deserved it. And I'm very happy and proud of him. Everything he has done for us throughout the whole year. And I hope he enjoys it and give the best out there and represent us like I know he will.
Pretty darn cool. All right, that is everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. I don't want to give Cal short shrift. He is the story of this Mariner season. Heck, he might be the story of this baseball season across the country, which is why, and kudos to Mora for getting this done, we're going to talk to Johnny Bench at 7:30 this morning about Cal and some other stuff, including the young catcher the M's drafted yesterday. But the greatest catcher of all time is going to join us. We have ridiculous shows this week. I mean, I watched Johnny Bench in the baseball bunch when I was a little kid in the 80s. So Johnny Bench has been like a part of my life since as long as I can remember. Pretty awesome. Getting to talk to, he's not like a personal hero, but really, really cool to see that he's, just amazing player. And he's going to be on the show at 7:30 today. Then tomorrow, Jim Abbott, who is like my personal hero, going to join me at 7:30. His E60 documentary came out last night. I DVR'd it. I was out at the concert, I think I told you, but I'm going to watch it tonight. So I'll be able to talk to you guys about that, and we'll talk to Jim about it at 7:30 tomorrow. Pretty darn cool. All right. I promised a little Lyle, and we're going to have it as a little appetizer for Johnny Bench, and he's going to join us from Atlanta. He gave us your profiles last week, and they were awesome on all these draft picks. What did he think about what the Mariners did? Why are the Angels so dumb? All questions we can ask Lyle next on Brock and Salk.
The season of Cal continues.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive deep to right field.
Big dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby today at 5. Live from Truist Park in Atlanta. Only on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
All right, it's going to be real hot this weekend. I think we're going to hit 90s midweek, so hopefully it's not too hot in your house. But if it is, it might be because you don't have enough insulation, or maybe what you have is damaged, right? That's why your whole house gets cold and drafty in the winter, and why, weeks like this week, you can turn your house just into an oven. So good news, utility companies do have special incentives to help with this, the cost of having your home properly insulated. So if you're a Puget Sound Energy customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to get a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yeah, 95%. So this is why you call Crawl Pros, okay? They will tell you what's going on behind the crawl space or attic hatch for free, but they can also help you with what energy rebates you're eligible for. Don't take a risk. You got to call Crawl Pros or go to crawlpros.com to schedule that free inspection. That's crawlpros.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-2085. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-2085. That's 800-555-2085. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-555-2085.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Seattle Children's is leading the fight against pediatric cancer with groundbreaking research in immunotherapy. It reprograms a child's own T cells to hunt down and destroy cancer. It's hope, powered by science. But here's the truth. Pediatric cancer research is drastically underfunded. That's why Safeway is stepping up, and you can too. G. Scott here asking you to say yes to donating to ImmunoHeroes next time you're at Safeway checkout. Together, we can help fight cancer for all kidkind.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
What a difference just a couple of days makes. Brock and Salk here, Seattle Sports on 710, and Johnny Bench will join me in an hour to talk Cal Raleigh. Can't wait to talk to the greatest catcher of all time about the guy who is rewriting a lot of those record books this year. But before we do it, big day yesterday as the Mariners not only complete the sweep, but also have the first round of the draft. It will continue today, and our friend Lyle Goldstein joins us now. Our board op extraordinaire, but the author of the Lyle Draft Profiles last week. He's in Atlanta for the All-Star game and the All-Star week. Lyle, what's up, dude? How are we doing this morning?
I can confidently say this is the most alert I've ever been for a 6 a.m. hour.
No kidding, but your voice already sounds shot. What happened?
No, it's not shot. It's just a work in progress.
Okay.
It's a long week.
I know, but you told me the other day that it was just because of the football game, and it sounds better than that, but it feels like you were still yelling. Were you yelling over the weekend?
I don't know about yelling, but the music around the stadium and in the stadium is loud.
Yeah.
So like you almost have to shout to talk to people. Like it's a loud setting.
That's the worst, man. I'm with you. There's nothing worse as a person who makes your living on the radio or speaking for a living than having to be in loud environments, and then you have to go to work the next morning, and it doesn't work. So I assumed that you were just that excited about Kate Anderson. Where's it at? Where's the excitement level today?
I mean, it's pretty high. I got to tell you, I didn't think this was going to be a world of possibility. Obviously, you never know, but everything we kind of understood was Kate probably wasn't going to be there. And it sounded like there was some interest in Seth Hernandez. It sounded like there was some interest in a couple other guys. But the one constant through all of it was if Kate was there, I think people were pretty confident that was going to be the Mariners' pick. And then when you see Eli Willits go off the board at number 1, that's when things start to get interesting, because when it's not Kate Anderson and the Nationals go a little bit of a different route, all of a sudden the draft starts to turn a little bit, and it just takes one extra pick to say he's going to fall to 3. And then to actually see him fall to 3, you knew in that moment, it's like, oh, this is going to be the Mariners' pick. So TJ and I, like TJ said, he jumped for joy when he saw the Angels pick it too. And yeah, we were fired up. We were really excited because this is the best player in the draft, in my opinion. And it's such a good fit in Seattle and the pitching lab that he's going to get to work with, and the high floor, the fast track potential to get to the big leagues. Yeah, it's really, really exciting. And I mean, this is the highest floor pitcher I think they've ever drafted, and I think they got the best player in this class.
That's funny when you say that. It unfortunately, that high floor thing makes me think of Danny Holtzen, who was really described that way. And by the way, might have been that guy if he hadn't unfortunately gotten hurt. But young lefty, bunch of other options available. They go in that direction. Why didn't Washington or Anaheim take him?
Washington, I'm going to guess they were trying to save up for a couple other guys, and I'm going to assume there was some – I mean, look, them not going with Kate or Ethan Holiday has kind of caused some ripple effect across everything I've seen. I think people were surprised. I have a couple friends who are Nationals fans who are in a little bit of disarray saying, why is this the route that they went? Look, Eli Willits had a chance to be the number 1 pick, and this is a guy with really good tools, and he's a good athlete, and he had a dad who was in the big leagues. So I wasn't that shocked to see him go number 1 just because he's a guy that has been toward the top of these mock drafts for a while, and he was a guy that people think has a chance to be a real star. And I get why the Nationals like the idea of taking him, even though personally I think they needed pitching. But I would say the Nationals had some idea that they wanted to overslot somebody later in the draft and said to themselves, okay, we like the idea of getting 2 players and underslotting Willits a little bit rather than having to use our full slot value at number 1 on Kate Anderson. And they were okay sacrificing a little bit in that regard to try and get the value of 2 players later, get the value of 2 players later on in the draft by, again, not spending all their money at the first pick. Because, for example, if they had gone Ethan Holiday, they would have had to use all their money, the full slot value on that pick at 1.
Yeah, it's like a way of trading down in the NFL, right?
Exactly like that, where you can save a little bit of money and you don't have to use your full slot pick at the number 1 spot. So the Nationals, I'm going to guess there was a little bit of a grander plan that they had schemed up. The Angels, I got no idea. I got nothing for you on that one. Because especially if the rumors are true from what Sam Blum of The Athletic reported, that Tyler Bremner is actually not getting some ridiculous underslot value at this pick, and they're going to give him close to the real money that that pick's owed, that part's crazy to me. I don't know what in the world the Angels had cooked up, but
it's funny you
I
say
think
that.
the Mariners owe a big thank you.
I mean, look, I don't follow this stuff the way you did, but just watching, I actually kind of like the Angels pick. Maybe they should have taken Kate Anderson. I mean, we'll find out, obviously, over time. But that guy a year ago was supposed to be, in consideration for the number 1 pick, right? He had a bad year, but during that year, his mother died of cancer. And he's bounced back now and said he was dedicating his career to her, which is just a beautiful, wonderful story. But I don't know. Like, is it that insane that they went with him?
He was just not projected to go anywhere near this pick. Because if it hadn't been Cade Anderson, like the guy that was linked there a lot was Liam Doyle from Tennessee, and people thought that was a guy the Angels would jump on. So there's Cade Anderson, there's Liam Doyle, there's Ethan Holiday, there's Jamie Arnold. There's a bunch of different guys that would have made a lot more, at least rational sense in the eyes of most in terms of who they would have went with that pick. It just totally came out of left field, especially if they're not making a big money saver pick right there at 2 and just giving them the full money. Yeah, I don't think anybody really expected that.
All right, so let's get back to Cade Anderson then. Why was he your favorite? What is, you told us a little last week in the draft profile on Friday, but for anybody who missed it, why was Cade Anderson your guy?
He's just so polished, and I get he hasn't had a huge workload because he had the Tommy John in high school, but when you've got the 4-pitch mix and you can run it up to 97 with the fastball and you have the slider that's really sharp, and you've proven to, do it on the big stage, and you've proven to battle through adversity, a little bit like I talked about on Friday, where he seems like a guy that doesn't really get fazed by much. He doesn't let bad starts get to him. He can flush it pretty quick, paired with just everything he's proven at LSU between, again, the big stuff, the command, the intensity. I just, I think this was the guy that made the most sense for the Mariners, throughout the process. It didn't ever seem like he was going to get there, but I think this is a guy that if it all clicks, he's going to pitch toward the top of this rotation, and he's going to do it in a pretty short amount of time. And for a draft that lacked star power, and there wasn't a ton of it in this draft class, Cade Anderson is one of the few in this class I think has some true star power.
Looking now at the prospect rankings for the Mariners, this is just the MLB one, but you could look at any of these. Top 10 right now would be Emerson, Montez, Cole Young, who's eventually going to age out of this. Felnin Celestine, Harry Ford, Michael Arroyo, Johnny Farmello, Jurangelo Saintja, Ryan Sloan, Tyler Locklear. That's your top 10. Where do you think Cade Anderson will slot in here?
I'm going to guess most parties would have him somewhere, at least on top 100 lists, somewhere in the top 25 to 30. And in the Mariners sense, that would put him at roughly number 2 behind Colt Emerson.
Yeah.
Could be number 1. Yeah, for like high, very high.
Because he's a couple of years older, right? I mean, he's the same age as Cole Young is. Cole Young's in the big leagues.
Right. But that's just, he's a college arm, so it makes sense. And college arms that get drafted high in most drafts, shoot up prospect rankings. I know he's not Paul Skeens, but when Paul Skeens got drafted, he was a top 10 prospect with the snap of a finger. So I think you're going to see outlets have Cade Anderson pretty high in terms of their ranking. And I think Mariners-wise, you'll see him somewhere between 1, 2, and 3.
I'll ask Jim Abbott about it tomorrow. I don't know if you know. Jim Abbott never pitched a game in the minor leagues. He was drafted and went straight to the majors. He may have made rehab starts or whatever later in his career, but he's one of, there aren't a lot. There's a few over the years, but just skip the minors altogether. I'm not suggesting that Cade Anderson's going to do that, but when you say polished, my mind kind of goes to hey, this guy's like a year or so away at the most.
For sure. It's funny, Mike Leake never pitched in the minors either. He was drafted out of ASU, and they put him right in the big leagues. I would say he'll need a little more time than that, but what I've heard a lot of evaluators talk about is teams barely need to do anything with Cade Anderson once he gets to the minor leagues, in the sense of you almost just kind of let him run with it. I don't think you have to tweak that much. I don't think you have to change that much. You just need to let him build up some innings. So, is it crazy to say Cade Anderson's in the Mariners rotation a year from now at the next All-Star break? No, I don't think that's crazy.
That's amazing.
I think you're going to see him move pretty quick as long as everything goes right. And you could see him pitching in Seattle pretty soon, which honestly opens up some options for the Mariners. If they decide at some point they're going to need to trade a starter, if they decide that they need to, re-alter their, or reallocate where they want some of their big league talent, so to speak, I think it opens up some options for them. It's not saying it's a slam dunk to trade a starter by any means, but it gives them a little more flexibility to do that rather than if they had taken, say, Seth Hernandez and he was going to be more of a development project where he'd move much slower. Whereas Cade, again, I think you're going to see him fairly quick.
I'm a little disappointed in you, Lyle. I got to tell you. I mean, great analysis on the Cade Anderson pick, but we are now 12 minutes into this, and you have not talked once about this quote from Luke Stevenson. Have you seen this quote?
Yeah.
Do you know about this?
How could I not? I got tagged in it like 20 times last night. I think he's now. I think he's now at the top of my dream guest list for people to talk to, because that guy, I feel like we're going to vibe instantly.
So here's the quote for those who don't know it. This is from Luke Stevenson, the in-between comp balance pick the Mariners made yesterday. He picked 35. He's a left-handed power-hitting catcher from North Carolina. He's like Cal Raleigh minus the right-handed swing. Quote, I hope they have good bread in Seattle. I eat a lot of peanut butter and jelly during the game. I probably have won a game, sometimes two, depending on how much I sweat.
Oh, wait. Is that the only Luke Stevenson quote you saw about the PB&Js?
I know there are more, that they're stories, but that was the one I saw. What else do you have?
So this is from Front Office Sports back during this past college baseball season when Luke Stevenson was at North Carolina. And the story says, baseball star Luke Stevenson of UNC makes 1,500 PB&J sandwiches per year and eats them throughout games.
That's almost 3 a game. That's almost 3 a day.
He said he has one about every 3 at-bats.
Well, we got to talk to him about, I mean, you guys are obviously going to have to compare notes, but, we're going to have to talk to him about that sandwich I sent you in Vegas, the like $19 fried French toast PB&J.
I wonder if he knows about it, but yeah, 100%. Maybe you'll have to mail him one.
All right, so I kind of like this pick, by the way. Like, as much as I'm excited about Cade Anderson, I don't know anything about Luke Stevenson until I heard his name yesterday, but he kind of looks a little bit like Cal.
Yeah, a little bit, and I don't want to quite do that to him, right? Just because obviously just got drafted, but you're talking about a guy who had an OPS over 950 both years in college. He hits for power. He's supposed to be good behind the plate too. So yeah, it's an exciting pick. I think I saw Aaron Fitt of D1 Baseball say, floor is Jason Castro, ceiling is Brian McCann, and I said, yeah, sign me up for that. So yeah, was I a little surprised to see them take another catcher? Maybe a little, but then you see what the profile is and you say, oh, this is an exciting pick.
Well, I think you'll know that I was zero surprised to see them take a catcher. You and I were texting during the draft, and I was actually wondering if they might end up with the guy that one of the two that the Orioles got in the first round. They love their catchers in the first round, but I was wondering if they might get Caden Bodine, just because hard for me to imagine Harry Ford is going to be in this organization 3 weeks from now. So if that's the case, that's probably a spot. And this kid is 2 years younger than Harry Ford?
Yeah, I think they're close in age. But yeah, so to that point of it, once I saw the pick, it made my ears perk up a little bit and said, oh,
1 year.
I wonder if they're working on a trade here, just because it feels that way, right? When you take a catcher that high and you have Harry Ford this close to the big leagues, it feels like he's a guy that could get dealt at the deadline. So yeah, my mind went to a similar place.
Or, maybe somebody else likes him and you deal this kid at the deadline as a player to be named later, because you can't trade draft picks for a year. But it just it gives them some options for teams that might be interested in doing something like that. You know anything about the other two kids, Nick Becker, or how to pronounce this other guy's last name, which I'm not going to try on the radio until you do it for me? Griffin, Hugus.
H-U-G, is it Hugus?
I don't know. I feel very uncomfortable pronouncing this guy's name. Not like the guy who started for the Yankees last week, Cam Schlittler. That was a one-time only deal. I don't know what's going on with this dude, but you know much about Becker or Mr. Griffin Hugus?
Hugus, I think they profile, I don't know a ton, but from what I understand, it feels like somebody in that Brian Wu, Logan Evans type boat where, again, college numbers didn't pop off the charts, but he has real swing and miss stuff, and I think they can develop him. And then with Becker, he's got some real power potential. Now, I think the notion is his swing might have to shorten up a little bit over time, because I think he's supposed to have a pretty long swing. But again, 6'4" shortstop, good athlete, supposed to have some power. So second-round pick where I'm guessing he's going to get a little bit over slot money. Yeah, that's another project where it feels like you can dream on the tools a bit. So you see the profile and you say, yeah, I like that pick. I like what the makeup shows. And I said, sure, give it a shot.
Yeah. TJ blowing his nose back there, or you got an elephant in the room with you? What's going on?
No, yeah, I think TJ's getting all ready this morning.
Sheesh. All right, last thing for you, Lyle, because when we spoke last on Friday, you were a little down in the dumps. Things were, you were a little upset. You didn't speak for an hour. The Mariners season was over. Everything was done. And they just scored 35 runs in 3 games and completely battered the best team in the league. How are we feeling today?
Better.
Oh,
I mean,
good.
it's impossible not to feel better. That was a great weekend. You can't be anything but fired up that Julio hit 3 home runs in 3 games. To see him score 7 runs on the year on Tarek Skubal is pretty wild. I would still like to see how they respond out of the break against Houston and Milwaukee and how they get out of this 12-game stretch. Like, honestly, if they just win one of those games in each series, they'd come out of that 5-7, and I honestly think that's serviceable enough where you stay in good standing. So, yeah, look, the Yankee series was brutal. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but to respond the way they did going into the break and scoring the way they were scoring at will against 2 all-star arms, you can't be anything but excited because that's a pretty good sign that they flushed that Yankee series pretty fast.
Well, good. I was so worried about you on Friday. You were so upset. I'm glad you're.
No, I was not in a good mood on Friday.
Yeah, I know. My gosh, little grasshopper. You gotta take these things a little longer frame than just 3 games. So, all right. Hey, good stuff. Have fun the rest of the week with TJ and getting Marine Layer stuff done for the podcast and video and all the social channels and everything else. Have an awesome time, and we'll see you when you get back at the end of the week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Salk.
All right, there you go. Lyle Goldstein of this show and the Marine Layer podcast and all things Marine Layer. He is certainly our draft expert, does a great job. Yeah, look, let's kind of go through this draft stuff for just a couple more minutes, and then we'll bounce back to some of what's going on right now with the Mariners at 7:00. And as I said, Johnny Bench going to join us at 7:30. This is a good draft for the Mariners. This was not a great baseball draft. Right, that's the first thing. To understand this draft, you have to first know this was not a great draft. This was not last year's draft or some others where there were dudes at the top who separated themselves. This was one of those draft classes where you're like, yeah, it could be any of these guys. They're all kind of roughly in the same zone in terms of, do you like more upside? Do you like more floor? Do you like this? Do you like high school? Do you like college? There are differences between them. But in terms of overall rankings, most of the guys drafted here in the top 5, whatever, in another year probably wouldn't have been drafted nearly as high. Would not surprise me if the Mariners liked Colt Emerson when they drafted him a couple years ago at 18 or whatever it was. It wouldn't surprise me if Colt Emerson was in this draft if the Mariners had drafted him at number 3 or if he wouldn't have even been there. Like that's kind of where this draft was at in general. So, if Kate Anderson wasn't there, I think the Mariners go well under slot at number 3 and try to spend that money later in the draft because they had, the second most money to spend. It would have been the equivalent, again, of trading down in the NFL or the NBA. They didn't have that option. That's not the way the baseball draft works, but you can go under slot and do it that way. Is that why the Angels and the Nationals didn't take him? Maybe. I mean, that could be it. Nationals maybe hoping to go under slot. I would have assumed that's what the Angels were doing. We'll see. I know the quotes make it seem like they're not, but that's really hard to imagine. But a lot of these guys were sort of in the same bucket in terms of, how people thought of them. So I'm pumped up today. I think it's great. I mean, you end up with the guy who was widely believed to be the best. But anyone who's sitting here going, I can't believe that the Angels did. Well, these guys were all kind of supposed to be in the same bucket. Maybe Anderson's ahead. But if the Angels saw something they didn't like or were scared off by the Tommy John surgery or whatever, it's not the end of the world. I'm excited. I'm not doing backflips, I guess is what I'd say. The second pick, and I'll beat this drum for a while, because I've been telling you guys for as long as you'll listen that I don't see any way Harry Ford is on this roster in 3 weeks unless the Mariners just aren't able to make a trade. He doesn't fit this roster. There just isn't really room for him. And Cal Raleigh going to be here for a while. But you also need another catcher in your organization. So if they drafted Luke Stevenson in the comp pick at 35, it's just there's no reason to have Cal Raleigh and 2 top prospects all at catcher who were 21 and 22.
It wouldn't make sense.
It's just not necessary.
Wouldn't make sense at all. What do you think the Mariners could get for Harry Ford?
A lot.
It's going to be a package deal, of course, if he goes somewhere.
I don't know. I'm not saying that. There's a lot of options out there, and we'll dig through that a little bit more at 7:45 in terms of what's available. Right now is available. Would I trade Harry Ford for 3 months of Josh Naylor? You have to have that conversation. Is it too much to give up? Yeah, probably. On the other hand, if you just drafted another guy and you have Cal Raleigh and it gets you Josh Naylor and whatever, like, you're probably going to think about that. Would you trade Cal Raleigh? Would you trade Harry Ford for a big-time reliever who had more than this year of club control? Griffin Jax?
I definitely would, yes.
I would too. By the way, I'm kind of low guy on Harry Ford. I'm not sold that Harry Ford is going to end up being a great player. So I am not sold on him.
You think he's going to be like mid-tier, kind of like your average
good player,
dude that plays catcher, not some superstar.
Good player. I think for me, Jason Kendall would be like a great, which is a good player. I mean, Jason Kendall is a really good player, but I'm not like, you're not trading a home run super Jason Kendall. Okay, that stinks. It would be nice to have Jason Kendall, but good thing you got Cal Raleigh.
And you just got a draft pick.
So I'm very, very willing to sell on Harry Ford and maybe not get back full value on it because other teams know. But so what? If you ended up with Griffin Jax from Minnesota because of that for the next 2.5 years, and you're throwing Andres Munoz, Matt Brash, and Griffin Jax and shortening games by 2 or 3 innings, yeah, it'd be worth it. Because, that helps you become a World Series contender. So I like what the Mariners did yesterday. And again, just sort of, just to finish it, continuing their pattern. Nick Becker is a high school shortstop in the same mold as some of the other kids they've taken the last few years. Keep that pipeline going. And another kind of project pitcher, kind of in that Brian Wu, like, hey, not great numbers in college. If another team drafted him, you'd be nervous. But after the success the Mariners have had with Logan Evans and Brian Wu, kind of turning these guys and seeing something in them that they can develop, it's hard to criticize or have any questions about the way this team drafts pitching. So, all right, Johnny Bench is going to join. Speaking of great, I don't think Harry Ford's going to be Johnny Bench when it's all said and done. I don't know. But the greatest catcher of all time will join us to talk about Cal at 7:30. Before we get there, what a difference.
It's Monday, man.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. And I'm here by myself for a while. What a difference a month, a week, and a weekend make in 4 different ways. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
You're listening to Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app. This hour is brought to you by Fred Meyer Pharmacy, with a special message for Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. Your neighborhood Fred Meyer Pharmacy is happy to welcome back Express Scripts Medicare D and TRICARE Department of Defense plan members. It's easy to transfer prescriptions at fredmeyer.com/pay or update. See your Fred Meyer Pharmacy for details.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Want to cut your home energy bills, breathe cleaner air, and improve comfort? The answer, AeroSeal from Home Comfort Alliance. This advanced process seals leaks in your ductwork, improving efficiency and air quality. Normally $2,500. Right now, for PSC customers, get AeroSeal for as little as $99 when they install a furnace or heat pump. Plus, save up to 25% on remaining 2024 heat pumps and air conditioners from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com today.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
The countdown is on.
9 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Get your freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
A month ago, Randy Arozarena had no pop. I have the text messages from my partner Brock to prove it, because he must have texted me something about it like 600 different times. So a month ago, Randy Arozarena had no pop. A week ago, the Astros couldn't lose. A weekend ago, the Mariners fell flat in the Bronx, and Julio was lost out there and needed to take himself out of the All-Star festivities in order to go home and recollect himself for the second half. What a difference a month makes. What a difference a week makes. And what a difference a weekend makes as well, because none of those things feel true right now.
But they feel so good now.
That's my point. So Mariners score 49 runs on this road trip. 6 games, 49 runs. They score 35 of them in Detroit over the 3-game series. That's more than 8 runs per game on the trip. That includes Yankee Stadium. And nearly 12 runs per game in Detroit over the weekend. Remarkable. They gave up some runs in the process, by the way. The pitching is kind of an under-talked-about story here, but we're not going to dig too deeply into it today. We'll be positive about the runs that they were scoring because that's unbelievable. Honestly, they're a late-game bullpen meltdown away from being 4-2 on the toughest road trip of the year, and 3-3 is nothing to sneeze at, even if it came in a strange manner. So, that's a pretty big difference from a week ago. Or a weekend ago, just 3 days ago on Friday. Speaking of a weekend ago, we were talking about Julio. Can't hit. He's struggling. Season's not working. When is the hot streak going to come? It's never going to come. He's dropping below a 100 WRC plus, making him a below average hitter on the year. And then he goes 6 for 12 with 3 home runs, 2 doubles, 4 walks, 8 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, and 6 runs driven in a 3-game series. What? I mean, that's just domination. That is complete domination. Are you now sure that he should take the All-Star break off? Keep this guy in whatever groove he was feeling in Detroit. Let him go to Houston. Let him go to Milwaukee and just keep doing this. I guess those games are at home, but you get my point. Like, yeah, let's keep this up. He was asked what was clicking for him.
I mean, I feel like I was just on time, I was just on time. And I was, looking for my pitches, staying within myself with my bats and just, taking what the game was giving me.
He says he's on time. I say he's 3 months late. Let's go. This is, again, I've said this over and over again. I think I said it last week. I certainly had it in my notes to say, so if I didn't, I'm sorry. But as much as it is now pretty clear that, Cal Raleigh's the best hitter on this team right now, I still believe that if you want to make a real run, yeah, you're going to need to make some deals at the deadline, and that's a huge topic today. Yeah, you're still going to need contributions and you're going to need the pitch. Like, there's a million things you need, but none of them help more than Julio doing this. When Julio Rodriguez is like this, he's as good as any player in baseball, and you get to see it. That stat line I just gave you, what stands out about it is that it covers so much of the game. Oh, by the way, threw a runner out at third, and again, he could have saved that game on Thursday night with as good a throw as you're ever going to see from center field to try to get Volpe, who just managed to slide around the tag. So 6 for 12, 3 jacks, 2 doubles, 4 walks, 8 runs, 2 bags, 6 driven in a 3-game series. It's complete domination. And again, what a difference a weekend makes. All right, you want to go back a week? The Astros were the best team in baseball. They're never going to lose. And Mariners, whatever they did, the Astros were better. They get to, 7.5 games, I think it was at one point up in the West. The Astros have lost 5 of 6.
Oh, it's so fun to hear this.
The Astros have lost 5 of 6. So, as much as you want to, make a statement about where things are going in this season, in this game, you can't. The Astros could win 5 of the next 6. They could lose 5 of the next 6 again. Same with the Mariners. These teams are wildly inconsistent. It's not just the Mariners, not just the Astros. The Red Sox look terrible. Now they've won 10 straight. The Twins look like they were guaranteed sellers a couple of weeks ago. Then they went out and won 5 straight. The Diamondbacks have rattled up and down. You go through all of these teams this year. Even the Dodgers and Mets have had their, up and down streaks. The Yankees, all of them. This is not just the Mariners who are inconsistent. This is the state of baseball in 2025. But a week ago, the division is slipping away rapidly, and then the Astros lose 5 of 6, and it's back to 5 games. Is that ideal? No. But 5 is not 7.5. And 5 games at the All-Star break is more than doable if you go out, do your thing, and have a better second half and a better deadline than the Astros do. I'm still not sold on that Astros team. I don't think they're that good. I've never thought they were that good. And if Jordan's hurt, and we'll see what happens second half with Altuve. They got injuries, Peña's been we'll see.
But also, how much of a weight is off your shoulders just being able to see Julio, Cal, and Randy all hit well at the same time.
Well, so that's the fourth part of this, right? Because I gave you a weekend, two things that looked different a weekend ago, one thing that looked different a week ago in the Astros, and then the last one is going to be Randy, who I wish I could show you all the texts of Brock blowing up my phone. Randy doesn't have a home run in May. Randy doesn't have a home run since then. Randy doesn't done this. Randy hasn't done that. Randy hasn't done this. Well, Randy's got 9 home runs in 13 games. Randy's on fire. Randy is right now second best combination, I think, of on-base percentage and slugging percentage on this team. Over 800. Why? Because he does both of those things. Cal is slugging so unbelievably well that it's bringing up his OPS to an incredible rate. Randy's doing everything. He's getting on base, and he's hitting for power. He drives in runs. He gives you a quality at bat. Randy's streaky. He's going to be inconsistent. He's going to have ups and downs. But Randy Arozarena has pop. Randy Arozarena is a fascinating 5-tool player because he can run and he can hit and he can get on base. I know there are people who hate his defense. It's not ideal. He's not the best defensive outfielder I've ever seen, and he'll do some quirky things. He's got a little Manny Ramirez to him. But he makes some really nice plays, too. He's a much better outfielder than Manny ever was. And he plays left field. Like, it's just not the end of the world. You know what he gets to do? Play next to Julio, tracks everything down in the gap. So, okay, make plays towards the foul line, which you've seen him do quite a bit. Don't run into Julio, and you're doing your job. So, look, I'm a big Randy fan. I'm biased. I'm going to come out, and when Randy plays like this, I'm going to ring the bell for Randy because I think he's awesome. I think he's a blast to watch. Last year, Brock spent a bunch of time wondering if he was unhappy, just saying he didn't look that happy. I can't necessarily disagree with him. I think it's hard to try to get into a player's head, and Brock knows that. But he did. He kind of looked grumpy. I don't see that now, man. I see a guy that looks like he's kind of fitting in, enjoying it here, playing well, kind of doing everything he needs to do. And I get it. He shows up last year, and a couple weeks later, the manager gets fired, and like everything is just sort of a mess. He's been in Tampa forever. It's Randy land. It's close to, there's a million things that are great about it for him. And he gets traded as far away as humanly possible in this league, and he didn't know what to make of it.
And he gets traded to a quote-unquote non-hitter-friendly ballpark.
That's right. All those things, I'm sure, are rough. He looks tremendous right now. He looks happy. And when you get Julio going, you get Randy going, and then you get some contributions. Polanco hits a couple of home runs. Cole Young does what you need at the bottom of the order, and even he showed a little bit of power in Detroit. Like, you start getting those contributions up and down the lineup. I've said since he came back that Luke Raley is a difference maker for the team, because he also has that combination of speed and power. Yeah, that's the way this team is designed to look offensively, and you didn't even get the kind of pitching you expect. So, fascinating turn of events, whether you're talking about the weekend, the week, or the month, but things sure looking a whole lot better in all 4 of those categories than they did just recently. All right, Johnny Bench, the greatest catcher of all time, going to come on and talk Cal Raleigh and a whole bunch more in 20 minutes. Can't wait for that. We'll do it right after everything you need to know next.
MLB Network insider John Morosi every week with Wyman and Bob.
Can they do enough at the trade deadline?
They don't have to necessarily be in first place by the end of July. But you need to show the front office that this team is worth adding to. But they need to show you more from guys who are not named Cal Raleigh. I'd be paying very close attention. Emerson, Young, Celestin, to see who potentially could be the one that they move.
See the full conversation on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing.
Summer is the perfect time for a new roof. Take advantage of our easy financing, summer specials, and the best warranty in the business. Have a great summer. See you next hockey season. Trust Techline.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Seahawks training camp, powered by Boeing, is back at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, July 23rd through August 12th. Take in stunning lakeside views, grab autographs from your favorite players, and let the kids join in on pre-practice football drills and more. Register now at Seahawks.com/training camp.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Summer is here, and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors, expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy-efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates, and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ed, who suffered a neck injury in a highway pileup.
Had a bulge disc in my neck. It was pinching my spinal cord, so reached out to Rob. It was amazing. Their whole team were honest and kept me informed, like they were actually interested in helping me, not just a number. I'm very pleased with the outcome. I would definitely choose these guys again any time of the week.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing, with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how you get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Early termination fee applies.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, Mariners showed up in Detroit and just whipped the American League, best team in the American League. Just unbelievable what they did to them. Demolished the Tigers, but not the way you'd expect. It wasn't with pitching. It was hitting, and more hitting with a whole lot of power in there. 11 home runs, leading to 35 runs on the weekend. Randy Arozarena, part of that.
Here's the pitch. Randy swinging a drive deep to left field. Holy smokes, goodbye baseball. Way out of here to left center, Randy Arozarena with a home run, his 16th of the season. And that will score Julio on in front of him. It's now the Mariners 10 and the Tigers 5, or make it 11-5. A 2-run home run by Randy Arozarena, number 16 for Randy.
No, they didn't like when he did a little jump shot at third base. Tough noogies. Get that guy out. You can't do it. And Julio, just a complete terror everywhere, all, in the batter's box, on the bases, in center field. Julio did it all this weekend as well. Quite the bounce back. And Julio says, yeah, there was some positive messaging before the series.
Just that. I feel like that was a message kind of right when we started the series that, the series in New York is over. We have a new series, it's a new game, and just attack it like that. And that's what we did as a team. And when we all do that, we're a really good baseball team too.
Well, they certainly showed it. They looked a whole lot better than the Tigers did, even beating up on some of the best pitchers, 2 all-star starters. The Mariners had no problems with them at all. As for Cal, well, he had a couple more home runs in the series, both on Friday.
Down the stretch, and the 2-2 on the way, swinging a well-hit ball deep to left field, and Grandma, get out the right bread and mustard. It is grand salami time. Cal Raleigh with his 3rd grand slam of the season puts this game away. Number 38 on the year. He hit number 37 in the 8th inning, and now he is just 1 home run away from Barry Bonds for hitting the most home runs in the first half of a season prior to the All-Star break. Number 38 way up into the bleachers in left field here at Comerica Park.
Yeah, he never got 39, but 38's pretty impressive. It's one behind Bonds. It's a little misleading just because Bonds did that in 87 games. The Mariners have played 96, but whatever. It's still an awesome number, and what he's accomplished is completely just cool and insane. Mariners go into the All-Star break 51-45. 6 games above 500, 5 games back of Houston in the division, game and a half ahead of Tampa for the final wildcard spot.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, it's nice to be fortunate, and the Mariners were maybe twice heading into this draft. First, they moved up 12 spots in the lottery and ended up with the number 3 pick in the draft yesterday after the Nationals and Angels surprised everyone by not selecting either of the top 2 players in the draft. The Mariners pounced at pick number 3.
With the 3rd pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the Seattle Mariners select Cade Anderson, a left-handed pitcher from LSU.
By the way, as much as, everyone hates Roger Goodell, and generally for good reason, Rob Manfred's awful at this. He screwed up a bunch of the announcements and couldn't vote, had to stop and start again. He introduced some kid as being from Bend, Oregon. And it was just dude, you're not helping the East Coast bias problem when you say things like that.
And he doesn't sound excited at all.
No, he's awful at it. Just terrible at it. Anyway, Cade Anderson is something to be excited about. Kid's going to be really, really good. Excited to be taken 3rd overall.
Yeah, still doesn't really feel real. And when I heard my name, obviously, it's what you dream about. And just super grateful to be selected by an organization that really got to kind of meet and take in. And I think just everything happens for a reason. And for me to be selected by the Mariners truly means a lot. And it's an emotional time, and just really excited to spend this time with my family and celebrate with them.
Trying to figure out which member of the media couldn't figure out how to use the mute button there. Add him to the stash of young pitchers, including Ryan Sloan and Jurangelo Saintia, all the big league guys they've got. It's quite the stacked organization right now. Anderson, only 21, dominated this year, 12-1 with an ERA just over 3 and 180 strikeouts. Also on the biggest stage, College World Series in Omaha. Yeah, he helped the Tigers win the whole thing with a complete game shutout. At number 35, They get a big left-handed power-hitting catcher out of North Carolina named Luke Stevenson, second-rounder. High school shortstop named Nick Becker out of New Jersey. And then in the third, they get a pitcher from Miami who honestly had more losses than wins and an ERA over 4, but kind of, I would think, fits some of that Brian Wu profile where there's just something in there they really liked.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All right, we mentioned Cal. He's got a shot at the Derby tonight in Atlanta. It's got to be one of the favorites, right? Leading the league in home runs, so we'll see if he can continue that in the Derby tonight. No catchers ever won. Adley Rutschman gave it a good shot a couple of years ago. Would have been interesting if our next guest, Johnny Bench, had been able to participate back when he was playing, because he's a pretty good home run hitter, but didn't have it back then. Also, tomorrow, we got to make sure we congratulate Randy Arozarena, who was a late addition on Friday to the All-Star team. In fact, he replaced Julio. Julio was asked by Shannon if he had a feeling that might happen.
To be honest, like the morning before we went out to breakfast and we talked a little bit about my decision and all that, and I thought he deserved it. And I'm very happy and proud of him. Everything he has done for us throughout the whole year, and I hope he enjoys it and give the best out there and represent us like I know he will.
Kind of like the idea of Julio and Randy having breakfast together. Not gonna lie. That sounds kind of awesome. Those two guys just...
I'd love to sit at that table.
Yeah. A little steak and eggs, maybe.
So will I.
Yeah, that'd be fun, right? Like, jump in there with those couple of guys. I'm in on that. Randy's been great. Just really good numbers this year. Highest OPS of his career, over 800. 16 home runs. On-base percentage over 350. Base run... Yeah, seems like he is in a very good spot. All right, that's everything you need to know. I want to make sure I get out on time here because Johnny Bench is going to call us at 7:30. So just a few minutes from now, we'll talk to the Hall of Famer, the greatest catcher of all time, and a guy who I think should have some unique insight on the season we're watching right now from Cal Raleigh. Stick around. That's next on Brock and Salk.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and obviously we've been talking through the beautiful, warm summer weather. It is summer. Like, this is the heart of it. So you're busy. I was at a concert last night. You got weekend trips. The kids are running in and out. You got, camps and vacations, the whole deal. It's busy. So maybe you're thinking it's too busy, or you're too busy to start a diet, a workout, a weight loss plan. No, don't let that be an excuse. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic can make it really easy for you so you won't feel like you're adding on one more thing to your already busy life. Instead, what you're going to be doing is subtracting a ton of weight. I did the plan. I lost 35 pounds. Ryan Roland Smith dropped 30. Had a listener text in a couple weeks ago. He was down 42 pounds with more to go. So look, summer is a good time to do this. You'll have more energy. You're not going to feel hungry while you're doing this plan. And you're going to drop weight very quickly. Dr. Coogan's worked with over 4,000 people locally with lots of successful results. So please be the next. Schedule your 15 minutes with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic right now. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Crank up the hits and bring on the boom. It's 80s fireworks night at T-Mobile Park. Get ready for a totally tubular show this Friday, presented by T-Mobile. The Mariners face off against the division rival Astros at 7:10. And after the game, the sky will light up to the sound of your favorite 80s jams. Big hits on the field and more big hits after dark.
Grand slam! Julio takes it deep and clears them off.
Mariners baseball, fireworks, and hair metal? Sounds like a rad night. Lock in your seats now at Mariners.com and check out what else is on deck at the ballpark this summer, including 3 straight value games against the Brewers, July 21st through 23rd, and the next Mariners fireworks show on August 1st.
Goodbye, baseball. He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Got neighbors? Big Trees can help. This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. If you've been considering planting trees to add privacy, look no further than Big Trees. Privacy trees fill in empty spaces, help to define property lines, and add curb appeal. Learn more about Big Trees' big supply of privacy trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have that new car you've been looking for. With the power of choice, drive the sleek hybrid Camry, leasing as low as $299 a month, the dependable Corolla, or the electric Prius, leasing at just $309 a month. If you're headed to the ballpark or cruising I-5 from the north or the south, visit Toyota of Renton or Kirkland, or shop online at toyotaofrenton.com and toyotaofkirkland.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, this is going to be really cool. I'm excited about this. Cal Raleigh's having just an unbelievable historic season. Every day you wake up and Cal's broken some other record, and the records he's breaking are from some of the all-time greatest players. It's just an unbelievable half season so far from Cal. Who better to talk about it than the greatest catcher of all time, Johnny Bench, the Hall of Famer, kind enough to take a few minutes with us. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Morning. Very kind of you to say that. Thank you very much. I am good, and I am really excited about Cal and what he's done. I had the pleasure of, at the Gold Glove Awards last year in November, of sitting with him at lunch and talking about catching, talking about hitting. And, of course, this is his 3rd year in a row. He's already hit 30 home runs or more. And we talked about RBIs, which I think is the most important thing that any player can do and should try to achieve. And he was a remarkable young man. I really enjoyed our time together. And then he goes out and steps it up beyond everybody's belief. Not his maybe, but the numbers are staggering. and to the point where, and guys like him and the Seattle area deserve, because it's kind of, they're putting it together. It's chasing the Astros, being a playoff bound team possibly. So it's really exciting when you meet a young man that has desires and drive and goals, and then goes out and achieves them, and then he goes and wins the Gold Glove Award and wins the Platinum Award. So kudos off to Cal.
Yeah, he's a pretty remarkable guy. I'm curious about what that was like when you first, was it about a year ago? I think you said that you first had a chance.
November, yeah, it was in November.
So what is that like? Where do you meet Cal, and what do you guys end up chatting about?
Well, it was we had the Gold Glove, and he was up for the Gold Glove, and he won the Gold Glove for Rawlings, and so we have a luncheon that afternoon. And we walked across the street to the restaurant, and we found, I don't know why, we just sort of, at the point where we left the hotel, where I met him and talked to him, and then we just sort of gravitated together on the way over, and then sat there at lunch. And there's not a lot you can tell. I mean, people come up to me and say, my kid wants to be a catcher. What do I tell them? I said, catch every ball. I mean, this is not, brain surgery. This is, you have these catching coaches in the knees and all the stuff in one thing. But if you can learn your style and you learn to catch every ball, because that's how, in the old days, I did it, try to catch everything. Nothing gets by you. And people start saying, wow, this guy's really good. Nothing gets by him. He can really catch. And then I wrote a book called Catch Every Ball, How to Handle Life's Pitches, that actually tells about this is the same in business, and it's like you and your job. If you catch all the questions that are thrown at you and you have answers, people believe in you as a broadcaster and a reporter. And whether you're a lawyer, whether you're in insurance, I mean, I've got guys that I throw stuff at all the time, and if they catch it, everything I throw at them, I know they're good at what they do. So, but it was just a wonderful opportunity to sit with him, and just as two guys, whether we be catchers or buddies. It was just, it was really, really enjoyable for me. And he's very humble. He was quiet. He asked questions, but he was very quiet, very humble, very unassuming. And that's what catchers should be. Then, nobody's going to notice them. You can get a ground ball on the shortstop, bounce off his shin, and a trainer and a coach will run out there. You get an outfielder run into the wall, and they'll run 400 feet, to pick them up. And then a catcher will take one dead in the cup. And the manager looks at the trainer and says, let's go get a cup of coffee. He'll get up. We don't worry about it. So we're just out there, but he's durable. He's a switch hitter. He's got a beautiful stroke. And it shows with the numbers that he's putting up. Yeah, catchers are like hockey players. They're just a totally different breed and what they're able to deal with. Obviously, right. Talking to Johnny Bench, the greatest of those catchers, you kind of bring up the humility, and I'm not surprised you say that with Cal. It makes perfect sense. I'm not surprised that you gravitated towards each other in that walk. In fact, it wouldn't shock me if Cal made that happen because he's a student of the game and he really does want to learn. You also kind of bring up, and maybe not saying the word, but you just described leadership from the catcher position. How important is that? How do you grow into being a leader in a baseball clubhouse? You show up on time. You take charge. You show up on the field. You don't ask any special favors. You just guide. You're up there. If here's Cal standing at the cage. Here's Cal dressed. He's ready to go. Here's Cal on time. You don't have to be the earliest guy in the place. You got to be dedicated to what you do. You got to be the guy that walks out there to the pitcher and understands, develops a rapport with every pitcher. You got to be a psychologist because you got to understand that pitcher. And then you got to go up there with an approach when, there's four ways to have a great game as a catcher. You call a good game, which is the number one thing for a catcher. You throw out runners, you block home plate, which isn't anything anymore, and you get to hit. And so, the guys in the outfield and infield, they're standing about their stroke and what they're doing and how their arm and their shoulder was here and the hands didn't go back and they're doing this stuff. And we talked about, watching hitters in batting practice to see if they got any flaws, and you discover them and then you kind of know. And then all of a sudden you're up the bat, you're on deck. And that's when you get the stuff on. And so you're not thinking about anything until you get up to the plate and you walk towards the plate.
I wonder.
And so
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I just wonder if that's now an advantage for some of these guys. There's so much information that so many of the hitters are going through. I mean, so much more than you guys had access to. I wonder if it can be, in some ways, beneficial for a catcher not to have time to worry about all that stuff.
Well, that's what I was kind of leading to, is the fact that, now you're not thinking about all the stuff you do, and you walk to the plate, your mechanics are good to begin with. You start your hands back, your right knee stays back, left knee stays back, whichever one you're hitting from, which side, and you're able to get your hands started, and your selection, and it's then you're selecting, you're zoning, you're looking for pitches in a zone, and then when you get it, you go after it, and that's about as simple as it can be, and it's how easy it is, but there's very few guys that can achieve that because of whether it be the visual thing, which we know is the most important thing about the eyes, about hitting, is being able to see the ball and staying in rhythm with the pitcher. And Cal he's done that in spades, I'd say.
I should have known that we would get some real baseball insight like this and how to play the game. I'm 47 years old, grew up in the Northeast, and I watched the Baseball Bunch every Saturday as a kid. So this, for me, this is kind of a big thing. I don't know how many people ask you about the Baseball Bunch anymore, but that's part of my lifelong obsession with baseball, was watching that every Saturday morning on my parents' TV in their bedroom on the floor, because, baseball was everything to me. So, first of all, just a thank you for that. But it does feel as if you just kind of like teaching the game a little bit.
Well, we're going to go far. We learned from the stars. I got a hunch you love the Baseball Bunch. And we had the best. And why wouldn't you watch the best? Why, I used to, there were times when I was in a slump. A slump is like a soft bed. It's easy to get into, but it's hard to get out of. And so I'd watch guys that were coming to play, and I'd watch batting practice on the other team because I wanted to scout them. But at the same time, I'd watch a guy like Jeff Burroughs, who had that little cock, just a little start of the hands back, and how stable he was. And I'd watch guys that were hitting, and then I'd see guys that weren't hitting, and I could see why they weren't hitting. And, it's like you go up and watch a hitter in Cincinnati when I go up there, and I'm watching the guy go in the cage, just sit by the cage, just to see what they do. And they do such, I don't know what kind of things in training they do and all this stuff. And, it was like, it's beyond some of the things I think about. But, hey, we're only qualified to do so many things. Our eyes and our body and our brain, in a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, it takes 0.42 seconds from it to get the pitcher's hands across home plate. You have 0.17 seconds to react to it. So in all that time, you've got to be able to make that decision of location, speed, break, and all that stuff, and then have the ability to do it. So the guys with the great eyes and the guys with the great technique will be able almost to slow that ball down just enough to do what Cal is doing and what guys like Will Smith is doing down at the Dodgers, and now Judge does it, and Ohtani. And, there's guys that can do it. And, it's like your ball club now, Arozarena is playing well. He's going to be an all-star, looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the draft last night, a lot of the draft anyway, but there was the names and numbers. We have the Johnny Bench Award, which I think you may be aware of, the college catcher of the year for both men and women. And we have 4 high schools there in the Cincinnati Reds area. And Cal was just before our award. We had Adley Rutschman and we had Joey Bart. And you had a kid named Luke Stevenson that was drafted out of North Carolina. He was on our watch list. He was 35th, and I guess. And then you had Easton Carmichael, which is out of Oklahoma, did it. But we had a kid. I grew up in a town, Binger, Oklahoma, a town of 660 people, and we played Little League ball. And I had to play Fort Cobb a couple of years. Well, the baseball coach in Binger was Reggie Willits. He was also first base coach for the Yankees, but he coached the baseball team to a state championship. And then he has what is the number 1 draft choice this year by MLB, a shortstop out of Fort Cobb, Broxton. Now, you got to understand, this is a town of about 800 to 1,000 people, and Broxton's probably the size of 600 or 700 people. Because we had to combine schools to make the district and get enough kids to come to school. So here we are, a kid from Binger, Oklahoma, and a kid from Fort Cobb, Oklahoma, winding up being drafted. and you wonder sometimes how the scouts can find us, but it's an amazing job with what they do. And I think, there's a Knipp that was drafted. I got to do that, but there was somebody. It was Grant Knipp, was drafted by the Mariners last year, and he was our 2020 Kentucky High School Baseball Award winner. So it's kind of, we have West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, and these are the high school kids. So we try to honor the boys and the girls and give them some credibility and give them some respect. And it's been a great little thing that we have. We have our awards on the 29th of this month.
Well, I will admit, I was rooting yesterday as I was watching the draft for the Mariners to take Caden Bodine, just because I thought it would have made it fun to talk to you about him today. He wins, right? He's
our winner.
Yeah, I know. And he went to the Orioles just a few picks before the Mariners took Stevenson.
How does that work? Mikey, how does that work? I mean, he's going to Adley Rutschman. Wow. I mean, you have a young all-star catcher and everything else, and you get drafted, but these guys have to do it, and sometimes they draft a kid. They had another kid named Ike that was drafted, but he's out of Auburn, but he was not he's kind of an all-around athlete, which I was a catcher, but I pitched. I was 84-3 lifetime pitching for my little league career up through high school. So I never really caught that much, but everybody thought I was a catcher.
You got those little league stats memorized. I like that. That's still pretty good.
Somebody tells me, believe me, Mike. Okay, my brain is not there anymore. Okay, I had 10 concussion, and I was just,
That's pretty funny. Well, I don't know how much you get to know these guys. Any idea, kind of some of what would make Luke Stevenson a pick there at 35? He sure looks like he's got a lot of power. He kind of looks a little bit like Cal with that big kind of midsection rear end. He looks like kind of a little mini Cal.
Don't be talking about rear engine catchers, all right? This is rude. All right, that's just rude because I won Butt Watchers of America 10 years in a row, or 5 years, or whatever it was. Yeah, we are known for that because that's all that's sticking out. But no. There's, they see kids that will maybe transition into a third baseman or a first baseman. They love his power. They love what they're seeing and everything else. So I just think it's a great opportunity when you get a good athlete, and that's the thing. Let's get a good athlete. And we can transition him because he can adjust to playing first base, third base, and maybe make a difference for that ball club.
Hey, couple of things real quick, and then I know we'll let you go on with your day here. And just thank you so much for spending some time talking about Cal and catching and everything else. Just awesome and a huge thrill for me. The one question about Cal this year is just the workload and how much it wears on you. I know you caught 147 games in 1970, but you were 22. Cal's 28. How does that wear on you as you get older? Is there an ideal number? Do you need to get him some days off? Obviously, he's got the DH, which you didn't have. Talk to me a little bit just about the wear and tear in the position.
Well, I caught 50 when I was 20. I caught 52 days in a row without a day off. I caught 154 of the 158 games because I missed the first 4. That's the reason that was like that was. And, I can still remember I was in Minneapolis playing in a senior golf tournament, and the reporter came out and said, hey, we got Joe Mauer, and I want to talk to him about him and, and how his future is and everything else. And I said, well, why don't you meet me back here in 7 years? Because, what comes up, injuries, knees, these guys physically are so much better and strength-wise and everything else. They know how to develop their bodies and everything else. Impacts, we don't have the collisions at home plate like they used to. But it's all about, Joe then started getting hamstring problems, and he had to stop catching. And so there's things that created Cal's, with his durability and everything else. When they say, well, he needs a day off, I said, when you catch 52 days in a row, yeah. And, the manager, Sparky, used to say, 80% of you is better than 100% of somebody else. And so you play hurt and you play through pain and nobody will notice it. It's a thankless job in so many ways, unless you're the guy that hit the home run or threw the guy out at second or blocked home plate. So until that happens, it's wonderful to see these catchers develop and do. This is really in a long time. I mean, Will Smith leading the league in hitting, but you got Cal and you got, you only got like 15 catchers, I think, in the Hall of Fame, and that's because they only come around once every 10 years because they don't win batting titles. They don't win home runs. They don't win the RBIs and everything else. And so we got a chance to watch a young man who's dedicated to what he's doing, dedicated to a young pitching staff that's got some potential and a lot of talent. And you got a guy that just is truly one good guy. And he doesn't ask it. He doesn't want the accolades. He just wants to, play. And that's what catchers are. They're workhorses. Sparky used to say, I said, am I going to get a day off? He said, let me put it to you this way. If we're behind, I'm going to catch you to catch up. If we're tied, I'm going to catch you to get ahead. If we're ahead, I'm going to catch you to stay ahead. I said, I'm not getting the day off, am I? He said, no, you just ride that old mule until it drops. So it's what it is. It's a thing, and it couldn't be, I couldn't enjoy it more than this opportunity to talk about Cal and what he's doing. And, you can't read the headlines because, I remember, but you're brought down to earth pretty quick. You go to you go all the other cities and they boo you because they don't like you. The only time you like you is at your home, and then when you hit in 238, they don't like you there. So you got to figure out. I hit 2 home runs, drove in 5 runs. I go out to a restaurant after the game in the bar, and the guy said, "Hey, I say you pop up and strike out." So, whatever's happening is the day's gone. And tomorrow's a new day, and you go out there with another approach to get the best game out of your pitcher, do what you can to win a ball game, and that's the way you become a success and maybe a Hall of Famer.
Can I ask you, this is just a personal question. It has nothing to do with this interview, but I got to ask you because, as I said, I grew up in Boston. I've probably seen the Carlton Fisk home run. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times. My dad's probably mad at me right now for talking to you because you were on the 75 Reds and it, broke his.
I got you.
Tell me what it was like sitting there. I know you won the next day, so it ended up working out. But what was your view from right behind the plate of Carlton Fisk's home run in Game 6?
Well, Pat Darcy had pitched the 11th, and he pitched great. And then we went out to warm up in the 12th because that was our last pitcher. We didn't have anybody. Clay Kirby's arm was basically broke, so he couldn't pitch. So Pat went out to warm up, and he barely got it to home plate. It was one of those. And so I looked over at Sparky, and I said, as I finished up the warm ups, and I looked at Sparky, and I said, no chance. This game's over. So, it was a great thing. It brought baseball back. It was a terrific thing. And I know I think the Red Sox won that series 3-4. I can't remember.
I'm sure it feels that way, at least in terms of the highlights played. But no, for me, it was growing up in misery and hearing about all of those things. I was born a couple years later until finally 2004. So anyway, thank you. Thank you for the base. You still in touch with the chicken?
Next year we swept the Yankees, and so everybody in New York liked it.
Appreciate that. That was important.
Yeah.
You still in touch with the chicken? You guys stay in touch?
Teddy's one of the most wonderful men and talented men I've ever known, and I haven't seen him in a long time. But he sure made the baseball bunch what it was to this day, and for people like you that enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you, Johnny. And I'll just throw out one other thank you. Thank you for including the female catchers in there as well. As the father of a couple daughters, I think that's really cool. And my kids really,
cool?
Yeah, my kids really react to that.
Things. We had it in Wichita, and I wanted to change it. I wanted to do it. I think the softball, I've become a huge fan of that. It started to develop, and we've had some wonderful, wonderful thing. And Jesse's going to be Jesse Atwood from Texas, Reese Atwood. Is going to be just another great winner and all that stuff. And yeah, they deserve it. They're war horses. They're just as tough, and they do just as good a job, and they're durable, and they have to go out there every day and fight it. So thank you for saying that.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate all your time. Thanks for everything you've done for the game of baseball, and thanks for the great thoughts on Cal. And hopefully we have a good cause to talk again because I just enjoyed the heck out of this. So thank you so much.
Me too. Give Cal my best.
All right. There you go. Thanks. There's the Hall of Famer, the greatest catcher of all time, Johnny Bench, who took 20 minutes to talk to me. That is, hey, I apologize. I'm sorry about going deep on the Carlton Fisk home run. That's a baseball thing that, every once in a while you gotta just throw some stuff like that out there. What a guy. How much does that dude love baseball? That to me is just the coolest thing. He just loves it. He loves the game. He wants to talk about it. He wants to teach it. For those who were not old enough or didn't watch the baseball bunch as a kid, I'm talking like 81 to 84, something like that. I was little. But this was a show, and I'm only telling you about it because I think it explains why he talks the way he talks, where Johnny Bench would come on with the San Diego Chicken and eventually Tommy Lasorda and play other players from other teams and a bunch of kids, and he would just teach them baseball. And he's teaching all of us at home. They don't really have anything quite like it anymore with big leaguers, and he was so charismatic and such a big star. I mean, that sort of Johnny Bench was a larger-than-life figure. And to have him on the television every Saturday morning, during Saturday morning cartoons, it'd be like, Smurfs and Johnny Bench. Like, that was the morning. And, in a world where there are only a few TV stations, like, that's what you're watching. You get up on Saturday morning. There's no iPad. There's no technology. All there is going into a room while your parents are lying in bed wishing that you weren't awake yet and sitting on the floor at age 4 watching Johnny Bench teach baseball. And it is my favorite sport. It has been my entire life. It's and he's a big part of the reason why. So today I get to talk to Johnny Bench, who helped me fall in love with this game. Tomorrow I get to talk to Jim Abbott, who helped me stay in love with this game and keep playing it after I hurt my hand. Partially severed my hand at age 12 and didn't think I'd ever play baseball again. And the next summer, my great aunt and uncle took me to Anaheim. I was out in L.A. visiting them in Orange County, and they brought me to a Jim Abbott game where he pitched against the Yankees. And I'm like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out how to do this again. And so we've talked to Jim one other time. His E60 came out last night, and I'll have an opportunity to talk to him tomorrow, also at 7:30. But yeah, I mean, in 2 days, one of the guys who helped me get into this game and this sport, which I love, and then another guy who really helped me stay in it. So Johnny Bench is as good as it gets. Tremendous player, cool person, and what a guest as well. Thank you to him, and great job by Maura to book him. All right, we never got to do Blue 88. That's okay, but we're also going to jump around a little bit because we got some football to talk today. Brian Nemhauser, you may know him as HawkBlogger, in the building for the rest of the show. How about that? All right, we'll do some fun stuff with him. We'll talk a little baseball with him. He's a baseball guy as well, and then plenty of Seahawks talk as well. Stick around. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Jordan Schusterman, every Wednesday morning at 11 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports.
How do you foresee this rotation shaping out before the All-Star break?
I certainly don't think that's the last we will see of Emerson Hancock this season. I will be interested to see if Logan Evans can make a push to replace him at some point, how they kind of go back and forth between both of those guys. I think from a workload standpoint, I have to imagine they want to be a little bit more careful with Evans.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us.
We get notifications every time we get a review. And I said, how do you not let it eat you up? Sometimes I feel so responsible. And his answer was, I just look at it as an opportunity. We need that feedback to learn and to do better. I'm grateful for the feedback.
Big part of sales is the relationship aspect. People want to do business with someone they can trust, who's a real person. They don't feel like you're just going after their money. And when you take the time to get to know them, get to know their needs, not be a car salesman, but be a consultant, then they feel more comfortable with you, and the experience is better on both sides.
It's not about closing deals. It's about opening relationships, helping people make the right choice. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed all in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data, except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Tired of sitting on your suitcase? 2 words. Packing cubes. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads. Now open and free through summer.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Then is strikeout number 7 for Brian Wu.
Home. Home is where you get to cook things up just the way you like.
Swing and a miss.
Where you're never afraid to get in the kitchen.
He got him. A huge strikeout from Logan Gilbert in 7th tonight.
Where you serve, carve, put some extra mustard on it.
There's the fist pump by Luis Castillo. Strikeout number 10 on the night.
And get a little spicy.
Set a heater at 100. Back-to-back strikeouts for Andres Munoz.
Now you're cooking with gas. Mariners baseball at T-Mobile Park. Welcome home.
The Mariners return from the All-Star break at the end of the week with an AL West showdown against the Astros. Don't miss your chance to catch Cal and the crew square off against their division rivals Friday through Sunday at T-Mobile Park. Then it's 3 straight Mariners value games versus the Brewers, July 21st to 23rd. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Well, thank you all for the nice feedback on the Johnny Bench interview. He was awesome. That was just such a cool thrill to get an opportunity to chat with him. And it was honestly only supposed to be about a 15-minute interview, and it kind of kept going because he had a lot to say, and he was awesome, and I felt like taking more of his time. So thank you to Johnny Bench, the Hall of Famer, and thank you to all you guys who got it. Sent in nice comments because that was really fun. What a great opening act for the main event coming in now for the next couple hours. Our friend Brian Nemhauser, you may know him as HawkBlogger. He's wearing a HawkBlogger shirt. Look at that. Trying to advertise here in the show. I like it. Good morning, dude. How are you?
I'm doing well. I got to ask you a question, though.
Yeah.
Who wrote the lineup card today? Who decided that I was going to be batting behind Johnny Bench?
Right.
He's going to lead the league in walks.
Yeah.
If that's the case. Let's be clear.
Well, yeah, they're going to try to get to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, but then you got a chance to deliver with that left-handed swing of yours.
It's true. And, based on my past, it would not go well. I loved baseball growing up. The fact that you got him to sing some of the
Baseball bunch
the
theme.
baseball bunch theme.
That was unexpected.
That was also pretty awesome.
What a moment, honestly. That was pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk a ton of Seahawks, obviously, and that's why I wanted to have you in. Trying to, Brock's out for a couple days. Thought I'd have you come in, talk some Seahawks today. Tomorrow, we'll do a roundtable from 8 to 10 with Shannon Dreyer and Churchill, Prospect Insider. So just an opportunity to kind of go through some Mariners topics. I know you're a big Mariner fan. How about this weekend? 35 runs in 3 days?
This team, when Julio Rodriguez is hitting for power, is a completely different team. I think they start to be a team that can beat Scooble. They can beat anybody that they're playing against when he's hitting for power. And you just saw those 3 games, and now you just have to cross your fingers that post-All-Star break, the pixie dust is still taking its effect.
Well, and it might or it might not. We have no idea.
Yeah.
That's been the crazy thing about this season with not just the Mariners, but really everybody. It might work. It might not. It might last. It might not. You might lose 5 straight. You might win 10 straight. It's just been a crazy up and down, bizarre baseball season. But let's talk some football. We'll delve right into the football. I got some big picture stuff for you at 8:30. But every day I've been kind of going through these top 10 position lists that ESPN does because I think it's better list voted on by executives and coaches and scouts and people who are actually paying attention in the game. It's not a be-all, end-all, but I think it's a reasonably good list. And they have quarterbacks today, so it's a pretty good opportunity to talk about this.
I know where you're going.
Well, I'm just looking at the top 10 quarterbacks. Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Jackson, Jaden Daniels, number 5. Interesting. Stafford, Herbert, Goff, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield. That's 10. I don't see a Seahawk on there. I don't even see Geno Smith on there, so that's interesting. Honorable mention, C.J. Stroud and Jordan Love. Okay, Houston and Green Bay. And then others receiving votes, Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, and Dak Prescott. Even Aaron Rodgers still on there. Tua Tagovailoa. 18?
Yeah.
You believe that?
Well, I'll tell you this. I knew that was going to catch your attention when I saw it because, there's a lot of lists that have come out with Geno as a top 10 quarterback. And look, if you want to really get into it, I think the story of that top 10 is it kind of ends after the top 5. Like, you start getting like Jared Goff and some of these other guys that, they're good quarterbacks, but you harken back 10 years where you're talking about Phillip Rivers or, Drew Brees or Ben Roethlisberger being the quality of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, it doesn't run as deep as it did a while ago. And so I think that's the bigger story for the NFL overall. And then, look, I'll tell you a number. I just did my own rankings of quarterbacks in the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I didn't know about Sam Darnold. He led the NFL in passer rating in close and late situations. 5 minutes or less to go in fourth quarter overtime. Within a 1-score game, 135 rating last year, which I had no idea when I did that research. I think that's pretty interesting. Geno is up there as well, but not that high. Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, you know how many passing touchdowns they've had in the last 3 years in those situations? 0.
Wow.
0.
Yeah.
So I think to me, Kyler Murray's a guy that, as a fan of the Seahawks as well as someone who covers them, I'm glad he's not the quarterback for the Seahawks.
I think he stinks.
That guy just does not come through when it matters.
He's just inaccurate. I look forward to the Seahawks playing Kyler Murray every time. Brock Purdy's in kind of his own weird category, but I like Kyler Murray. Brock Purdy, I don't know. But it is interesting to me that neither of those guys find their way onto this list at all. So neither of them got one top 10 vote. You had to get one top 10 vote to at least receive consideration, and 18 other guys did.
Well, part of the thing that's interesting there is people are absolutely filleting the Seahawks for making this move from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold. If neither of them made the list, then it can't of a change, at least from that perspective. I'd say this, though. Sam Darnold's got a lot to prove, and I think he knows he has a lot to prove. when I went back and I watched every throw that he made in those close and late situations, that guy was making throws that only really good quarterbacks make, and he was making them. And I've also heard Sam Darnold is not good under pressure. I saw ESPN, Matt Stafford was getting credit for being a guy that can stand in the pocket and be tough. Matt Stafford had one of the worst seasons of his career last year. He's 37 years old. And if I asked you who led the NFC West in passing touchdowns last year, it wasn't Matt Stafford. It wasn't Brock Purdy. It was Geno Smith and Kyler Murray, who both had 4 touchdowns in their final game that didn't really even count. So I don't know if that any of the quarterbacks in the NFC West really had a great year last year.
Yeah, no, I think those are all fair thoughts. Two others on this. One, if you had to guess or bet, who has a better chance of being on this list next year? Geno?
Geno.
Think so?
Geno. Yeah, I mean, I am in the camp of believing that Geno Smith is a very good quarterback. I think that he is one of the best passers of the football in the NFL. It does not faze me when I see him in a top for you. But he also is playing. He has been unbelievable in domes, inside, on turf. He's going to be playing a lot more games like that in Vegas. I think that he's got good weapon in Brock Bowers, and I think that it's some interesting weapons in Dante Thornton and Jack Besh. And then you got Ashton Genty running behind him. I think he's set to have maybe his best year of his career.
Well, the other name on this list that was interesting to me, and I'm sure some listeners who have listened to this show for a long time will not be surprised to hear me point out that the number 10 name on this list is a guy I would have liked to have seen here instead of Geno, and that was Baker Mayfield. A couple of years ago, I thought they had an opportunity to go get Baker. He was claim his career, but wasn't all the way back yet. And I really wanted him. I would have really liked to have seen Baker Mayfield here. I think he brings a lot of what Geno does, but with a little bit more mobility and a little bit more likability, fun factor, leadership, something the guys seem to love playing for him. And here you go, a few years later, after his career was toast, Baker Mayfield's back in the top 10.
Well, let's see how Baker Mayfield does when his left tackle, Tristan Wirfs, starts the year on PUP. And let's see, because we've seen the best quarterback in football, Patrick Mahomes, who's number 1 on that list still. When he doesn't have protection, he looks pretty bad too. At 2 Super Bowls, it was not the same player. So, I know it gets old hearing people talk about the supporting cast and the play callers and the offensive line. It does all factor in, and it's not an apples to apples. And so Baker Mayfield had a very good offensive line and a great stable of receivers for him last year, and a pretty decent running game with Bucky Irving kind of coming on the scene. So let's see how he does without Tristan Wirfs.
All right, there's a first 10 minutes or so with Brian Nemhauser, HawkBlogger, but you got a whole lot more. He's going to hang out with me here until the end of the show, 10 o'clock today. So looking forward to a lot more Seahawks conversation, and we're going to throw some Mariners back in here as well. I don't want to ignore baseball, my God, especially coming off the sweep this weekend and the draft yesterday. In fact, need to know is 100% baseball. Salk.
He's the southpaw from down under, Ryan Roland Smith with Wyman and Bob.
What was your reaction to Julio making the All-Star squad?
Julio going to the All-Star game is nothing but great. It's good for his confidence. I would say J.P. Crawford had a bigger case at shortstop than Julio did at center field to make the All-Star game. When you have a leadoff hitter with the on-base that he has, I thought J.P. had a bigger case.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, Call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have that new car you've been looking for. With the power of choice, drive the sleek hybrid Camry leasing as low as $299 a month, the dependable Corolla, or the electric Prius leasing at just $309 a month. If you're headed to the ballpark or cruising I-5 from the north or the south, visit Toyota of Renton or Kirkland or shop online at toyotaofrenton.com and toyotaofkirkland.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Summer is here, and Washington Energy's BOGO 40% off sale is on now. Update and enhance your home with beautiful new windows and doors expertly installed by Washington Energy Services. Save today with one of our best deals of the year. Buy one energy-efficient window, get the second at 40% off. And BOGO 40% off all entry, patio, and interior doors right now. From traditional to modern home updates, and with over 65 years of award-winning installations, Washington Energy is the clear choice. Call today for a free estimate.
This is Steve Ahmed, president of Pacific Power Batteries. We know that customers like to buy from nice people, people who we generally like and trust. We don't consciously buy from a corporation, a jingle, or a logo, but it's the little things, like knowing about batteries, how they work, and why they don't work. Maybe it's just a smile from Noe, or Brandon, or Jennifer, or even Travis. Ha! At Pacific Power Batteries, we do our best to hire and train good people so you can trust them. So come on in and put us to the test.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, the Mariners just showed up in Detroit, left the best team in the American League lying on the ground, miserable. They demolished the Tigers. But they didn't just do it with pitching like you would expect. Instead, they battered them to death. The home run ball, 11 long balls in the series, leading to 35 runs scored, nearly 12 runs a game in the 3-game series. Everyone seemed to get involved. Julio had 3, Randy Arozarena, Cal, even the bottom of the order.
There's the pitch of the way, swinging a well-hit ball, deep to right field by Young, and this one is gone. Goodbye baseball. Cole Young with his second big league home run as Polanco and Young go back-to-back here in the top of the 9th inning, and it's now the Mariners 6 and the Tigers 4. Holy smokes, the kid from Pittsburgh will touch home, and the Mariners have a 2-run lead.
Yeah, they were getting it from everywhere. They go to the All-Star break 51-45. Didn't seem like it was going to look like that just a few days ago. They trail Houston by 5 games in the division. The Astros have lost 5 of 6. They're a game and a half up on Tampa for the final wild card spot. Things are pretty good in Mariner land all of a sudden.
Who would have guessed that the Mariners would be top 4 in the AL in runs scored, OPS, and it's pitching that's been their issue this year. And you have to hope the pitching's getting healthier. Even though Logan Gilbert didn't go long, he did have a bunch of strikeouts, and we'll see what that does in the second half of the season.
Yeah, it is weird, some of the inconsistencies of this team and the ups and the downs. And they're doing it with power, which, I think they score the most or second most percentage of their runs come via the home run. It's not been small ball. It's been hitting the living daylights out of the ball, and it sure helped them this weekend. As for Cal, finishes the first half with 38 jacks. He had 2 on Friday night, including a grand slam. So he's 1 behind Barry Bonds, who had 39 before the All-Star break in 2001. That's a little misleading. The Giants had only played 87 games at that point. The All-Star game was earlier. The Mariners have played 96, but still pretty cool and a great honor for Cal, who will start that game tomorrow.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, the draft just could not have gone better for the Mariners. I mean, they had what would have been the 15th pick in the draft. Instead, they move up 12 spots in the lottery. They get to number 3. It was not the perfect year to have number 3, but when the Nationals and Angels both kind of made inexplicable picks ahead of them, the Mariners got to do this.
With the 3rd pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the Seattle Mariners select Cade Anderson, a left-handed pitcher from LSU.
He is that. Only 21 years old. Dominated this past year. Went 12-1 with an ERA just over 3. 180 strikeouts. Pretty impressive. Dominated on the big stage in Omaha. Helped the Tigers win the College World Series. Had a complete game shutout in that one. And as Lyle, who joined us earlier, said, he's a guy that is probably the most polished pitcher in the draft. He could be ready for the big leagues in like a year.
Well, I think one of the fun things about that pick, if they had gone all the way to the 1st pick in the draft, I think it would have been the same guy. So, I mean, the amount of good fortune that fell the Mariners' way over the last few days, Astros losing, them winning, and then this draft, it's a good time to be a Mariners.
Yeah, it just changes the whole kind of view. And by the way, he'll probably slot in as one of the top 2 or 3 prospects in the organization immediately, and that's the big league ready if you are going to trade Logan Evans or Emerson Hancock or maybe somebody else this offseason. Those things become a lot easier now with him in the organization. And then at pick 35, they take this left-handed power-hitting catcher out of North Carolina, Luke Stevenson. Notable why? Well, he's only a year younger than Harry Ford. So if you do trade Harry Ford, who's blocked in the organization, guess what? He got his replacement ready to go, and he's basically the same age. I love the pick of Luke Stevenson, partly because I've been convinced for a while now that Harry Ford's not going to be here after the trade deadline.
Yeah, it sure seems that way. And it was cool to hear Johnny Bench talk about Luke Stevenson and where he can fit in. And look, I think of catchers as like the offensive linemen of baseball, right? Corn-fed, big guys, do not want to be interviewed, and they just do their jobs. And the more of those guys you can have in the system, the better.
Pretty cool. They also get Nick Becker, high school shortstop out of Jersey, and a pitcher from Miami, whose name I'm not going to try to say today, but he's sort of in the Brian Wu camp of guys who struggled but probably have one thing the Mariners really like.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Cal's in the Derby tonight because we haven't talked about Cal for almost about 30 seconds. He is in the Derby tonight. One of the favorites, of course, as the league leader in home runs. No catchers ever won the event, but Adley Rutschman gave it a good shot a couple years ago. Also a switch hitting catcher. So I think Cal's going to hit right-handed. That's my gut, is that he's going to start right-handed. He's just crushing the ball right-handed right now, and I think that's a better swing in that ballpark, so that's cool. And then a little belated congrats to Randy Arozarena replacing Julio on the AL squad for tomorrow night's game. He's had ups and downs this year. He's not the most consistent player, but the numbers as you go into the break are tremendous. He's definitely all-star worthy. Highest OPS of his career, 16 home runs, on base percentage at like 356 or so. Base running helps.
That Blue Jays fans were whining about the fact that George Springer didn't make the All-Star team instead of Julio Rodriguez. After Julio steps out, he still doesn't make the All-Star team.
That is a little surprising. I'm psyched for Randy. I think he's a great player. Yeah. A little surprised that George Springer
He sure has
not
made
in
it
there.
look like the Red in the last few days.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right, that's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Will you watch are you a Derby guy? Talking to Brian Nemhauser, HawkBlogger, who's in here for the rest of the show.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the Kentucky Derby for a second.
Not that
I was like,
Derby.
no, probably not watching that, but I'd love to go
Derby.
one day. No, but the home run derby for sure. I mean, it's kind of a big part of Mariners lore, actually, more than maybe some other franchises and what Griffey's done there, what Julio's done there, and now we get to see what Cal. I don't know how his swing's going to play. Like, it's like 3-point shooters, in the NBA 3-point contest. Some people's shooting stroke works in that kind of situation. Some people don't. So I'm curious how Cal's will work in that situation.
He's so big.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that makes him tired or, he's so
It's a lot of energy.
It is a lot of energy, but he can also turn around and then go the other way and use different muscles.
Yep.
I don't know. I kind of like Cal's chances, but I don't know. Who the heck knows? I'm trying to predict the home run derby is impossible.
I hope it's just fun. That's what
it almost always is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna have fun here talking Seahawks, and then we'll come back to some baseball at 9:00. But the Seahawks are getting killed in the national press. That's the first question, but it leads to a lot of kind of big picture Seahawks stuff. We'll do it together next. HawkBlogger's in, Brian Nemhauser, and you're listening to Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports on 710 and 97.3 HD2.
The All-Star Fantastic Four. It's now the Mariners Fantastic Five.
Welcome to Randyland.
As Randy Arozarena joins Andres, Brian, Julio, and Cal.
Holy smokes!
In the 2025 Midsummer Classic. Tomorrow afternoon at 5 from Truist Park in Atlanta. On the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here, and this is really cool. Family-owned business, local here to Western Washington. You know I'm talking about Riverside Roofing. Love to root for these guys. And they just, again, earned their prestigious GAF, Master Elite's President's Club status. Puts them in the 99.9th percentile of all roofers in the country. Yeah, cream of the crop, right? Proudly from Marysville, serving homeowners all over Western Washington. Riverside Roofing, they're the roofing company you can trust. So that's good news for us as homeowners here, because it means if you hire them, you're hiring the best of the best. A company receiving high marks in performance, reliability, and service as well. And then they'll also make sure your yard and driveway are totally clean from debris because they use the catch-all system, which is awesome. Elite warranty to match, highly reviewed, highly recommended. Riverside Roofing, your go-to local roofing contractor. Book them now for a summer project and get that roof done fast. You know I recommend them. Go to riversideroofingllc.com and hire the roofing company you can trust.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Do you find yourself searching the medicine cabinet for pills and sprays during allergy season? How about having to buy one more medication when the season hits? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We offer a solution that will save you time, money, and frustration. Rynair is a simple, minimally invasive procedure that significantly reduces postnasal drip and stuffiness. We're taking new patients in Federal Way And in Auburn, come see us. Book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Ann, who broke her leg in a trip and fall accident.
I had broken my femur and I was in horrific pain. We chose Iddens because they had a good reputation. I wasn't just a name, I was a person, and that makes a big difference. I'm just grateful that we had the settlement for my care. I'm very pleased.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law.
Battle tested.
Seattle Children's is leading the fight against pediatric cancer with groundbreaking research in immunotherapy. It reprograms a child's own T cells to hunt down and destroy cancer. It's hope, powered by science. But here's the truth. Pediatric cancer research is drastically underfunded. That's why Safeway is stepping up, and you can too. G. Scott here asking you to say yes to donating to Immunoheroes next time you're at Safeway checkout. Together, we can help fight cancer for all kidkind.
Hey, everybody, it's Bob Stelton here. And let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I went to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange. Now, I'm somebody who struggled with up-close vision. I couldn't read restaurant menus. I couldn't read receipts. I couldn't read the text on my phone. I had this crazy large font on there. I put the readers away. I went to K2 Vision, and I'm actually reading some of what I'm saying to you right now. I couldn't do that before. It's amazing. So if you're like me, you struggle with distance vision, or you always need a pair of glasses, K2 Vision RLE is quick. It's absolutely painless, and I am seeing great without glasses or readers. RLE is a game changer. I'm excited to spend my good active years not needing reading glasses. K2 Vision RLE gave me great vision that, more importantly, is permanent. The doctors at K2 Vision have performed over 150,000 lens procedures, so they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Half hour from now, we will do basically a baseball version of Blue 88. We'll do that coming up at 9 o'clock this morning, and a lot of baseball conversation, especially tomorrow, as we'll do a 2-hour roundtable with Shannon Dreyer and Jason Churchill. That starts at 8 after an interview with Jim Abbott, one of my personal heroes, and his E60 came out last night. So that's all tomorrow. Right now, HawkBlogger Brian Nemhauser in studio with me for the next hour and a half, and that's a good opportunity to talk some big picture Seahawks stuff. And I guess just start with the big question for me that I've just, as you're watching and reading and everything for this sort of funky list season, off season, why are the Seahawks just getting killed in the national media? I'm not saying that they're Super Bowl champs, and I don't know that I'm sold, but I saw somebody the other day who were potentially winless Seahawks. I mean, they're getting killed by the national press. What is going on? Why do they hate him so much right now?
So I think it's a variety of things. Like there's layers to this. Part of it is people outside this area don't understand what happened here. They don't understand why the Seahawks, quote, chose to go from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold, and why they, quote, chose to go from DK Metcalf to Cooper Kupp. And that's how they see it, even though you and I and others know that it wasn't just that. There's other nuances to how that all happened. So just as a straight player-to-player change, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But then beyond that, I don't think that a lot of national folks or football folks in general prioritize defense. And so if you look at the Seahawks, they had the 5th best defense in the NFL last year in points per drive. That's a better metric than just points per game, right? Points per drive. Every other defense in the NFC West was 21st or worse. 49ers were 30th in that, right? But no one talks about it. They talk about the offense, and the Seahawks have made so many changes on offense, and so many of them need to be seen to be believed. I think that's a big part. And then the offensive line, man. Yeah. It's until that proves differently, that's going to be a story.
So I love that comment on the defense. I think you're right. I think when people are looking at teams and ranking teams, it's a lot easier to look at the quarterback and the weaponry and probably the primary reason they're getting as pasted as they are right now. The quote unquote, decisions to move on from Geno and DK are interesting to me because while I agree with them, my reasoning behind it has a lot to do with reallocation of resources, and I'm not sure we saw some of that reallocation yet. So I guess maybe the question is, do you think this offseason was about 25, or was this about 2026 and beyond and kind of starting that process?
It depends on which person in that building in the VMAC you ask, because the GM's job, John Schneider's job, is always to be looking at least 3 years ahead. And his job is to always be trying to replace every single player on that roster with someone better. That's just his job. It makes him unpopular at times probably in that building, but that's his job. For the coaching staff, it is now. They don't necessarily have the benefit of looking ahead 3 years. They've got to win now. And here's the thing, Mike. I disagree with the impression that other people have that this was what the Seahawks wanted to do. And I think they would, if given the choice, they would have rather had Geno Smith sign. They would have rather kept DK Metcalf. That was plan A. And John Schneider's admitted as much, which is not something GMs always do. But they couldn't do it for various reasons. They've moved on. And I think to your point, there's some real potential benefits.
Yeah, if I'm John Schneider, I would never admit that because I think it was a mistake to have kept those guys. Like, I think the worst thing they could have done would have been to sign Geno and DK. That would have been a disaster.
I think that the DK move for sure, 27 years old, incredibly talented, but has never been the guy that makes the contested catch, never plays as big as he was athletically. That would have been really tough to give him, $35 million, $33 million, whatever it was.
It would have been a terrible idea.
That was one that I think if you just made that move, I think there would have been a much different attitude outside of Seattle about this.
I'll tell you what, I would have been just as upset if they had given Geno Smith the contract that the Raiders did. You're talking about a guy who doesn't make the top 18 quarterbacks in the game. And they go out and sign him with more guarantee money for a longer period of time, and he's a few years older as well than Sam Darnold. Like, I'm not sold that Sam Darnold is the quarterback of the future for the Seahawks. We'll see. He's got an opportunity to earn it, and if he does great, I'll be happy. And if not, there's a really good quarterback class next year, and I think they're in position to be in it and be in the hunt for somebody who could be the next guy. But the idea of why? What would possibly be the point of doing that?
I think that you got to be a little careful, even with Jeremy Fowler's list there. That's coaches or scouts and front office guys. There's blind spots in the NFL front offices. There always have been, and quarterbacks might be one of the places where there's the biggest blind spot. Baker Mayfield's a great example. Has been kicked all around the league. Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, like a lot of these guys have made it through. A lot of them would still say Trevor Lawrence is much better. Trevor Lawrence, every measure of a quarterback has him worse than Geno Smith. And so I guess I would be a little cautious there. I think Geno Smith has been over the last few years behind what honestly has been one of the worst offensive lines in the game with one of the worst running games in the game. to be a pretty darn good quarterback. Yes, he's made a lot of mistakes, and a lot of fans in Seattle, I was surprised. The amount of fans I sit next to during home games that wanted him gone was more than wanted him here. But Sam Darnold's got bigger shoes to fill than I think you're implying.
There was one little piece of information that came out after Geno was traded that, to me, I think maybe speaks louder than any of those stats, any of those numbers, any of these rankings, any of it. And that is that Geno was communicating as often as he was with Pete Carroll last year. And no blame to Pete. Not saying Pete did anything wrong. That's not tampering. There's nothing wrong with it at all. And I don't even really have a problem with Geno having conversations with Pete. But I think it's a window in to these guys weren't Mike Macdonald guys. At their core, at the crux, Geno Smith wasn't a Mike Macdonald guy. And whenever things weren't going the way he wanted them to, who would he call? Not Mike Macdonald, Pete Carroll. There was not a fit there. And I'm sure, it gets kind of spun or reported as Geno wanted to leave, but it wouldn't surprise me if Mike Macdonald didn't really want Geno back either. Like, yeah, he wants to leave because I was never into him that much because he wasn't my guy. And I want people, unlike Geno, unlike DK, who are going to buy in 100%.
That is the storyline that makes the most sense to me. If you want to look optimistically at these changes, I think for the first time, Mike Macdonald's been here for a year, but for the first time this year, he's going to have his team. This is a group of guys that are bought in, that understand that what he's expecting. Even if you look at this draft class, one of my big impressions, interviewing each one of those guys, hearing them talk, they all love ball. They all are charismatic. They are all solid guys, like in how they show up. And what has Mike Macdonald said over and over and over again about what he wants people that love ball because he's obsessed with it.
Yep.
And so now you feel the identity, which you and Brock talk about a bunch, and I believe in is a massive part of just you cannot win in the NFL without knowing who you even want to be. And I think Mike Macdonald has a pretty clear idea, maybe importantly, now has a clear idea of what he wants offensively.
Yeah.
I don't think he had that as much coming in.
Well, and you've worked in the corporate world as well, had a successful career before turning it into the HawkBlogger deal, which, by the way, I've mentioned a few times. I just think is awesome, turning it from a blog and then doing it full time and covering the team in person. I'm so impressed with the whole deal of what you've done. You can't do anything in life if you don't know what you want to be.
Yes.
I mean, like, you can eventually fall into it every once in a while in a lucky fashion. But it's just so much better in any business, in any job, in any part of life to have a goal and then go try to achieve it. And I don't think that Geno or DK really fit that goal particularly well. And so do I think Cooper Kupp is the replacement for DK Metcalf? No. What I was hoping would be the replacement for DK Metcalf would be a big mauling right guard. And that's the thing that I don't understand. For all of the work they did, why are we still sitting here with major question marks on the offensive line?
I don't know if they have major question marks.
They got two major question marks, and one of them, the third, is going to be filled by a rookie.
Define who's a major question mark for.
Anybody major question mark? It's a definite question mark.
It's a question mark. Major. We've seen enough of Oluwatimi to say he's at least going to be a league average center if you play him there. I don't think you're talking about a major question mark. And I think there's potential upside if Jalen Sundell, who, by the way, was athletic enough last year that they had him as a backup tackle.
Yeah.
And putting him at center, I think there's a lot of interesting players there. Not to mention Christian Haynes has been getting snaps at center. So I think center's in good shape. Right guard is really the spot where there's competition, and I think there's a good news there because Christian Haynes came out of UConn as the best zone blocking guard in the draft and one of the best zone blocking guards in years. And then they went last year, and Ryan Grubb just didn't run outside zone almost at all. And so I think there's a chance he'll take a big step. And this is going to be something that a lot of people are excited about. Anthony Bradford, a guy that has not been good. He's been bad. Came into mini camp in the best shape I've seen him in and was absolutely annihilating people in the drills. Now we'll see when pads get on. We'll see when he against other opponents. But I think there's some promise there. I just want to offer that Gray Zabel, I think he's going to be the best Seahawks drafted lineman in decades.
I think he might be as well. I'm not disagreeing on that, but history has taught me not to count on a rookie being, starting caliber quality right away. I love Abe Lucas when he's out there. I will admit to still having some concern, and maybe it's because Pete once used the word chronic, and I know that Abe has discounted that, and everyone else has said that's not really true, but that word still lingers in the back of my mind that Pete said it, which is not a word he would use very often. So yeah, I have, and I like Charles. He'll end up on the top 10 tackles list. I don't think he'll be on there. He's a good player.
He was not on there.
Did they already do it?
They did it, and
I missed it.
Yes, so he was not in the top 10. He was not in honorable mention, but he did receive votes.
Okay, so I want to be excited about that. I'm just surprised you don't go out and make one more move. You of that group heading into the season.
Well, 100% agree. I came on and talked to you about you cannot just go into this with only a rookie added and hope that it's going to be a lot better. That is a much more risky path. I think they had two options to potentially upgrade at right guard, and one of them was Joe Thuney, and I don't think that was really an option. I think that Ryan Poles is buddies with the guys in Kansas City. I don't think the Seahawks ever got a chance in on him. That would have been a huge addition for not much in return. And then, Will Fries, who, by the way, they were in on and were going to go. He refused a physical. There are some rumors that he might not still be at full health. So I don't know that there were if they just went and spent this money on a guy that didn't make sense, then you're back at the Jamarcus Webb and the Bradley Sowell situation. You don't need that.
Well, yes and no. I don't need that. You're right. The problem with those guys is that they were, hey, let's spend 5 nickels instead of a quarter.
Yes.
And I wanted them to go spend a quarter or $1 or whatever. And I don't know exactly line. I'm not a GM and I don't have an answer. I don't scout offensive line talent. I don't know the difference between some of these guys. I just know that you can't say every year, well, we couldn't do this. Well, we just couldn't do that. Eventually you got to figure it out. You got to have an offensive line if you want to be a running football team, which they say they do. Coming back to that identity idea, you got to figure it out. So, all right. What this season goes well if?
Well, offensive line's top, near the top of that list, and I think I am more bullish on that group than probably anyone else you're going to find. I think that there are a lot of reasons that line's going to be better than it's been. I think the scheme, I think the increased amount of rushing, which means the reduced amount of dropbacks, the more play action. There's a lot of reasons I think that offensive line is going to be better, not to mention I think the players are going to be better. Then you gotta have Sam Darnold be a guy that at least is not hurting you. I don't think Sam Darnold needs to be a top 10 quarterback for you to win 10, 11, 12 games potentially. In fact, that's the third thing that needs to happen, which is you need to be at least a top 10 defense and ideally a top 5 defense. Salk, over the last 5 years, teams that finished with a top 10 defense averaged 10.5 wins. Teams that finished with a top 5 defense averaged over 11 wins. So just being an elite defense gets you a long way, and Seahawks fans get that. Seahawks fans have seen some great defense and understand how that can be a foundation. And then the last thing, honestly, they have to be a top 12 rushing team. They have to be toward the top. And that's the biggest leap from where they were one of the worst rushing teams in the NFL last year. They have to be best for this offense to really work.
Brian Nemhauser, HawkBlogger, in with me today. What would you like to see done between now and the start of the season?
I'd like that none of the rookies have stories like the unsigned rookie for Cleveland, Quinshon Judkins, who had the
not good.
You don't want anyone showing up on the blotter, the police blotter. You'd obviously like to get the second round picks signed. I don't know how many people realize this, but the first 2 picks of the second round, Cleveland started again with fully guaranteed contracts, and now the Seahawks and John Schneider are holding the line with Nicky Manwari. He's next up, hasn't been signed, and I think that's going to be a little bit more of a battle than people realize. So I'd love to see that. And then, I don't know that there's any other move that's realistic before camp, but if they can get another nose tackle, someone that they believe in, that would be a big addition because
upgrade over Hankins.
I like Brandon Peely. I think he offers some things there, but man, I really think it's important that Byron Murphy gets as many snaps away from that spot as possible to unlock what he can do. And I just don't know that Jonathan Hankins is the guy that you want to be taking all those snaps.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would probably tend to agree with that. Even just rotational. I mean, like the trade for Roy Robertson Harris last year, not a big name. He ends up leaving in free agency, which is fine. But it did seem to help them quite a bit, just having another guy that you can count on inside and rotate him through. So those guys, especially a guy like Big Hank, like those guys get tired. It's not easy, attacking from the defensive line spot.
Team tougher right away. And you think about the old Pete Carroll Seahawks, and there's always like the Tony McDaniel, the Taba Rubin, like some guy that
One Branch, put him in that category.
Yep, they had good luck. They had good luck on veteran, cheaper defensive tackles. When they tried that on the interior offensive line,
it didn't work. And eventually it kind of stopped working on the defensive line too. I mean, you end up, not all cheaper, but like
Al Woods was pretty good.
Yeah.
They have a pretty good hit rate there. So I'd love to see them do something there. I think the other thing that would be interesting is trade Noah Fant. And, I thought Miami might be a spot. We'll see if they're still looking after they bring Darren Waller out of retirement. But I'm really bullish on the tight end room and clearing more snaps for, Elijah Arroyo and A.J. Barner, who I think is ready for a big step. And even like one of the silent competitions in fullback, with Brady Russell and Robbie Oots, I think they would like to keep both those guys, and I don't think they can do it if Noah Fant's on the roster.
There's not really a reason for Noah Fant to be on this roster. Like, I can't come up with a good reason other than that he's currently on the roster and receiving a paycheck. I mean, he just hasn't done much.
He's a fine player. He's not a difference maker.
Can you quickly point to the last tackle that Noah Fant broke?
I cannot.
Okay, I'm just checking. I know that's something tight ends do at times, but I don't know that I can remember or recall seeing any of those. Any other deals anything else that could be brought in between now and the end of the year?
Not likely. I mean, it's possible there's another vet offensive lineman that they try to bring in, but I don't think so. I think they're pretty well stocked. Maybe there's a receiver that they want. I think the receiver room, everyone talks about Sam Darnold. I'm a little bit more concerned about the receiver room than I am about Sam Darnold and the lack of dynamism in that group. And, Cooper Kupp, I'm hopeful is going to be really good, but I'm not sure that they've got the guy that's going to really break things open. Hopefully, Torrey Horton can be a guy that.
Is he? I mean, he didn't play a ton because he's just coming off the injury, so we probably saw the least of him of any of the draft picks. But yeah, I think that's a good word for it. Dynamism. There's not a lot of dynamic guys in that group. They have guys who can do kind of one thing well, but not a lot of guys who can do a bunch of things well, other than obviously JSN.
Yeah, I mean, Marquez Valdez-Scantling has had a kind of infamous career more than a good one, but he had his best stretch of his career with Clint Kubiak last part of the year, and he talked about that's why Clint Kubiak's why he's in Seattle, because he really felt like he got the best coaching that he's had as a pro. If he can do what he did last year, I have a lot less concerns, because the other thing here is Sam Darnold is excellent on under center, play action, and deep passing. He was the most explosive passer in the NFL last year, which people don't realize. Best deep passer in the NFL last year. And you got to have deep targets in order to take advantage of that strength.
That's what he does.
And so I'm really going to be curious to see if they can develop that explosive part of their offense.
Yeah, it is funny. Like, he's good at that. Is he a complete wide receiver? No. So can you put him in to kind of do what he does best? Cooper Kupp at this stage of his career, can he do everything out there? Not really. But can you put him in position to do what he does best? And I think that's probably true with the running backs, and we're going to hit on them a little bit later as well. Yeah, offensively, I think I get it. The move that I'm going to keep coming back to, though, is you want that top 5 defense? You're close. Can you find a way to get over the top? Because the one thing this defense is missing is somebody who's going to win on third down and get to the passer.
So you're still in the Trey Hendrickson and TJ Watt.
I'm in the Trey Hendrickson thing. I mean, I think TJ Watt's probably a pipe dream. I just don't see Pittsburgh doing that when it's all said and done. That's not who they are. But yeah, I am on the idea of Trey Hendrickson. He plays in Cincinnati. They're an organization that'll find a way to screw it up. And if he's available, you're talking about a top 5 or 6 defender in the game. Like, yeah, of course you make that move.
I think that there's no doubt that an elite edge rusher lifts that defense more than anything else that they could add. There's no question. I just think the likelihood seems very low as far as whether it would be a good move. Let me ask you this. I mean, would you trade Boye Mafe, who's going to be going into his final year and has been a good, not yet great, not yet Pro Bowl player?
So far, yes.
And like a third-round pick?
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, I wouldn't have to hesitate. I thought you were going to say a second-round pick, and I was going to say yes before it came out of your mouth. Would I trade Boye Mafe in a second-round pick? Yes. Would I trade Derek Hall in a second-round pick? Yes. Where do I sign up?
Because the reason I think you'd make the move like that is you're not only making that move, you're also signing Trey Hendricks into a big deal.
That's why I traded away DK Metcalf and Geno Smith and have room and space, and I can get rid of Noah Fant as well.
Noah Fant, you've got Boye Mafe, lack of signing. You could potentially reason your way to it.
I don't have to. I'm there. I'm not potentially reasoning my way to it. It doesn't take anything. It is a good idea. John should be on the phone with Cincinnati every day trying to make this happen.
I don't think 30-year-old plus edge rushers are guys that you have no question about making a move when you're trading away a young ascending rusher and a draft pick. I'm not there with you on that.
You think Boye is ascending?
I do. Boye Mafe, like everyone's like, oh, he had a step back year last year. His pressure rate, his pressures were the same as the year before.
That's what I would have said. I'm not saying he's regressing. I would have said he's kind of who he is now.
He took a big step forward as a run defender, and you'd hear that from other players in the team. He's kind of got all the tools now to, I think, take a pretty big step forward. I think he and Derek Hall have the potential to be one of the more underrated duos. And I'll tell you, Mike, when I asked Mike McDonald about those guys last year, how good can they be? You know, Mike, at this point, he's not exactly the most effusive guy when it comes to his own players.
True.
He said, without hesitation, those guys can be all pros. So this is a guy that's turned a lot of guys on the edge into better players than they are other places. I trust Mike McDonald.
You know what would be fun, though, is to turn Trey Hendrickson into an even better player because he's already pretty darn good. Finished second in the Defensive Player of the Year voting last year. That's HawkBlogger Brian Nemhauser. We got another hour to go with him, although I'm going to spend some of that time talking baseball because there's just too much good stuff going on in the baseball world. We didn't do Blue 88 today because Johnny Bench went long. If you missed any of Johnny Bench, wow, go find that on the podcast page. But Brady, I'm going to have you ask me three good baseball questions next. How about that?
That works for me.
It's going to be a little this ain't cricket for the old head Brock and Salk fans. We'll do that next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, salesports.com.
The season of Cal continues.
And the next offer on the wood. Cal swinging a drive deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby today at 5. Live from Truist Park in Atlanta. Only on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
You have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last dent. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
Celebrate 40 years of The Bite. The Bite of Seattle returns to Seattle Center, July 25th to 27th. Over 300 food and retail vendors, plus games and live music. Admission is free. Enjoy a Seattle summer tradition at The Bite of Seattle with delectable multicultural cuisine, live entertainment, and fun for everyone. Enjoy a Friday night screening of Pixar's Ratatouille at the Mural. Taking over Seattle Center July 25th to 27th. Come to The Bite, biteofseattle.com.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
If it's game day or any day, Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are your MVPs for trucks and SUVs. Experience the power of choice with the Tundra at 1.99% APR for 72 months. The Tacoma leasing at $299 a month. The all-electric BZ4X with 0% APR and the RAV4 leasing at just $319 a month. Find that all-star lineup at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Give me those sauces, grab the chicken strips, let's dunk them in there. There's nothing like it. Hey, I'm Joey. And I'm Josh. And we're team members at our local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing you'll love about the Chick-fil-A chicken strips is dipping them in our sauces. My sauce is the barbecue sauce. If you wanted to add sweet, tangy flavors, there's nothing like it. I love the garden herb ranch sauce, but if you want a little bit more kick in the spicy side, you can mix it with buffalo sauce. Dipping them in our sauces, it is perfection.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Team members paid for their testimonials.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
The countdown is on.
9 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to do you a minute.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
All right, hour to go here on the Brock and Salk show. We will get back to some football talk with HawkBlogger Brian Nemhauser, who is in for the rest of this hour. We'll do that at 9:30. I've got kind of a little fun game for him, which we will play together at 9:30. It's mostly been a baseball day because, God, what a weekend for the Mariners, and you get the sweep, and Julio doing everything that he did, and Randy and Cal, and then the draft yesterday. So what I was planning to do earlier at 7:45 was a baseball version of Blue 88. We used to, years and years ago, have something called This Ain't Cricket, which was sort of a baseball version of Blue 88. I wasn't going to bring back all of the god-awful This Ain't Cricket imaging that we had with like Ryan Rowland-Smith and Jack Zarensik and some other people talking about cricket, but I will have Brady, who's in today from Mora, ask me 3 good baseball questions, and we'll do it without a name.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, question number 1. Who should we be rooting against over the next 2 weeks?
Well, obviously, you're always rooting against the Astros. You're always rooting against the teams in your division. The Rays and Red Sox right now are going to be on that list because that's playoff positioning. But in terms of just the next 2 weeks leading up to the trade deadline on July 31st, the 2 teams that right now are not sellers but could be and would be very beneficial for the Mariners if they were are the Diamondbacks. Obviously, they're 5.5 games back with 3 teams in between them. And the Padres, they are not convinced right now that they want to sell. If you can get them into a position where they're 8 back, 9 back, couple weeks from now, Josh Naylor, Geno Suarez, even a couple of their pitchers become available. Not only does that help you because both Naylor and Geno are incredible fits for the Mariners, specifically Naylor, but it helps the market. The more people that are on the market, the lower the prices are for the buyers who want to bring stuff in. So number 1 team for me is obviously Arizona, as we've been talking about. Number 2 is actually Minnesota, and a week or so ago they looked like guaranteed sellers. Then they win 5 in a row. Twins are 4 games back with 3 teams between them and the Mariners, who right now hold that final wild card spot. They don't really have bats, so this is not an offense thing. This is about relief pitching, and the other big need/want of the Mariners. Maybe it's Griffin Jacks. Heck, maybe it's class like Duran rather. They've got dudes all over that bullpen, and if they do decide to sell, they're a tremendous fit with the Mariners who could really make themselves better. All right, give me question number 2. Sorry, I'm just going to take this one myself. I'm on a roll right now.
All right, why did the Mariners take Cade Anderson with the 3rd overall pick?
Well, because they had to, because he was the best player available there. I think if he wasn't, if the Angels had done the normal thing and just taken Cade Anderson at number 2, I think they just go way under slot. So what does that mean? It's the baseball equivalent of trading down. It means that you take a player who is scheduled to get less money because you only have a certain amount of total money that you can give your draft picks. If you give under, everyone has a slot number at their position. If you give under slot to the 3rd pick, you can give over slot to the 35th pick or whatever. It's a really dumb way of doing it because confusing for fans. I don't know why they don't just have a trading draft pick scenario like they do in, every other sport. But for whatever reason, baseball has not figured that out. They have this over, under, at slot deal. And I think that's what the Mariners would have done. This wasn't a great draft. The guys that went at the top of this draft were probably no better than what the Mariners had when they picked a few years ago in the teens or 20s and took those guys, Ty Pete and Johnny Formello and Colt Emerson. Those guys, I think, would have been near the very top of this draft. So it's exciting to get Cade Anderson. It's great. But I'm not sure that this was an opportunity where they're going to get a generational kind of player that you only get at number 3. In another year, he might have been a number 10 pick. All that being said, you take a nearly league-ready starting pitcher at number 1 or at number 3, and in your 2nd pick at 35, you take a 21-year-old college catcher. Man, gives you a lot of flexibility at the deadline if you want to deal any starting pitching, including Logan Evans, Emerson Hancock, etc., Bryce Miller, who's hurt, or if you want to deal Harry Ford. And oh, by the way, you take another fairly high, young high school shortstop. So if one of those other dudes ends up getting dealt, you're starting to replenish that as well. Question number 3.
Question number 3, who or what has been the best story in the Mariners system this year?
All right, so you probably want to think that answer is Las Montez, and you could make a reasonable argument. He's been a revelation with the power. I mean, even since getting called up to Double-A, it has not stopped. He is a monster. But I think my answer is slightly less touted Michael Arroyo. He has been right there with Laz. hit at single A the same way at high A at Everett, and then got called up to double A at the same time. Since getting there, he has a 936, well, for the year, a 936 OPS. It's actually gone up since he got to double A, which is the exact opposite of a hitter's league and a hitter's ballpark. Since getting called up, he's hitting 320 with a 444 on base percentage and a K rate under 10%. He's only 20 years old. So he was young for high A. He's very, very young for double A. And from what I understand, the biggest jump in the leagues is from triple A to the big leagues. They say the difference between low A and triple A is not as large as the difference between triple A and the big leagues. That's how big a difference it is. But the second biggest jump in the minor leagues is from high A to double A. And for these two guys, specifically Arroyo, to come up and do what he's done, super impressive, and probably the best story right now in the Mariners minor league. So there you go. That's a baseball version of Blue 88. Sorry to hog 7 or 8 minutes there, but
that was great. If you could only have one, Gino Suarez or Naylor?
Naylor.
Why?
Not close. You've got Gino Suarez's. I mean, you've got guys who hit the ball out of the ballpark. I think that Naylor brings a more complete hitting approach with some power. And look, Gino also brings the leadership. Like, there's a lot of reasons. It's not like an anti-Gino thing. The real answer to that is both. Like, if you're going to trade with the Diamondbacks, get both those guys. Give up more, get more. Can you imagine if you put those two guys on the corners for the rest of this year? You're stacked. That's a stacked team. That's a World Series contender.
Absolutely. And if you had to say which is more likely, it feels like Gino is a very Mariners move to bring him back.
Yeah, but there's a little more competition there.
Yeah.
Yankees, other teams that want a third baseman specifically. One of the cool things the Mariners have is they're very flexible with what they could bring in. And a lot of that is because of Luke Raley. If you bring in a first baseman, Luke can go to right field. If you bring in a right fielder, Luke can continue to play first. If you want to bring, that really helps. You can upgrade at first. You can upgrade at third. You can upgrade at second, although I don't see that necessarily being the direction they'll go. Oh, by the way, the fact that Dom Canzone has played much better baseball since getting called up, probably my biggest surprise of the year, because I was very down on Canzone. He's been awesome. It also provides you with so if you don't want to fix right field and you want to stick at first base or third, you can do that because he and Raley can kind of keep that position covered. So, or maybe you find somebody who's excited about Canzone around the league. Maybe Arizona wants him back.
Yeah,
after seeing what he's done here for the last few weeks. Great. I would sell high on Canzone all day if that's what it takes.
He's one of the guys that nobody probably is talking about after this weekend. 4-hit game, multiple 3-hit games. I mean, the guy's he looks like a complete hitter all of a sudden, not just this pull power guy.
Crazy.
And the thing I really like about Naylor is throughout his career, that guy has been big in big moments. And if you're talking about playing September, October baseball, having a guy like that in the big moments and the big innings against the best players can step forward, I love that because as much as I love Gino Suarez, there's no doubt I'd love to have him back on this team. I think the team would love to have him back. There's swing and miss in his game.
Yep.
There always has been. And so I think having a guy that's hitting almost 300 right now and is a better contact hitter, I think.
Who still has some pop.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Naylor's a better fit. Man, the idea of both those guys together is it's a total game changer for what, start going through your lineup. Let's say, and I'm willing to trade Harry Ford. I want to trade Harry Ford at this point. All right, I'm going to give up Harry Ford and a couple other things. Maybe Emerson let's start with Harry Ford and Emerson Hancock. They go to Arizona for those two dudes. I don't know if that's a real deal. I'm just kind of speaking. Start putting together that lineup for the Mariners.
If you were to go
JP's leading off.
There you go.
Julio's hitting second. Cal's going to hit third. Naylor's going to hit fourth. Let's say
Gino and then Naylor.
Okay, whatever you want. Let's go Gino, Naylor. Now Arozarena's hitting 6. Polanco's hitting 7.
Yeah.
Raley is hitting 8. And Cole Young's hitting 9th. Guys, that's a World Series team.
Then you got Victor Robles back a little bit later.
Right, he's your 4th outfielder, and that's a World Series team.
If you got Randy hitting 6 and you have a good enough lineup for him to be hitting 6, that's a great sign.
That's insane. And by the way, maybe that's not even how it goes. Maybe Randy's hitting 4th. Maybe Randy's hitting 2nd. Maybe JP gets dropped down at some point if he's cold.
You have options at that point.
That is a baseball team that can really do some damage. Oh, by the way, your pitching, And I'm not done talking about guys like Griffin Jacks and some of those big name pitchers.
Who would you rather want, Griffin Jacks or Duran?
Yes, either. But
and who are you giving up for it?
Whatever, kind of a lot. Like, again, Harry Ford to me is in that kind of conversation. I'm willing to give up probably more than you have to.
You're selling a lot for a leverage arm in the back end.
Yeah, but for 2.5 years. I'm getting him for 2.5 years, not just 2 months like you are with the 2 bats that we're talking about. You're talking about, leverage arm for 2.5 years. Now you can go back and do what you used to do. Like, oh, it's the 6th inning, but this is like the key point in the game. Great, go to Griffin Jacks. Great, go to Matt Brash. And then you can still have the other guys available. And that's how you start winning some baseball games. All right, we're late. We got to come back. We'll give you guys everything you need to know. Back to some football talk with HawkBlogger at 9:30. We're going to play a little Seahawks buy or sell. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
If it's game day or any day, Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are your MVPs for trucks and SUVs. Experience the power of choice with the Tundra at 1.99% APR for 72 months. The Tacoma leasing at $299 a month. The all-electric BZ4X with 0% APR and the RAV4 leasing at just $319 a month. Find that all-star lineup at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com. Offers valid through August 4th, 2025. Excludes taxes, license, and negotiable $200 dealer documentation fee. See dealership for details.
Jordan Schusterman, every Wednesday morning at 11 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports.
How do you foresee this rotation shaping out before the All-Star break?
I certainly don't think that's the last we will see of Emerson Hancock this season. I will be interested to see if Logan Evans can make a push to replace him at some point, how they kind of go back and forth between both of those guys. I think from a workload standpoint, I have to imagine they want to be a little bit more careful with Evans.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
The season of Cal continues.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Big dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby today at 5. Live from Truist Park in Atlanta. Only on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included, for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Oh, what a weekend for the Mariners. The bats were out in full force, and the bats brought out the brooms as well.
Now the set. And the 0-2 pitch swing and a miss. Strike three. It's over. And the Mariners sweep aside the Tigers here in Detroit. A final score of 8-4. They finish out the final road trip before the first half at 3-3. And what a turnaround for the Mariners in this 3-game series.
Yeah, just unbelievable. They scored 35 runs with 11 home runs. I've got 3 of them here. You want a Julio home run, an Arozarena home run, or a Cole Young home run?
Julio every time.
All right, here's Julio's second of 3.
Pitch to Julio, swung on and destroyed. Left field, this is so far gone near the scoreboard in left field. That was hit to the moon. Julio with a demolished home run to left. It silences the building, and he is homered in a big way in the second day in a row.
I went through these numbers earlier, but Julio this weekend, 6 for 12, 3 home runs, 2 doubles, 4 walks, 8 runs scored, 2 stolen bases, and 6 runs driven in, plus an outfield assist.
Julio goes oppo, and I think the walks in that number was one of the best. In his career, the Mariners are 63-25 when he hits a home run. They're 90-110 when he does not.
That's quite a number.
They are a different team when he hits.
Yeah, and not just hits. I mean, filling up the box score like that, just insane. What was working for him?
I mean, I feel like I was just on time. I was just on time, and I was, looking for my pitches. Staying within myself with my bats, and just, taking what the game was giving me.
He says he was on time. I would say he's about 3 months late. But regardless, he was on fire, that's for sure, this weekend. They go into the All-Star break 51-45. They trail Houston by 5 in the division, but a game and a half up on Tampa for the final wild card spot.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Also got the number 3 pick in the draft. Remember, they lucked into that through the lottery, which was awesome. Moved up 12 spots. So a cool opportunity to pick near the top of the draft. And yesterday, they didn't just make the selection. They took advantage by getting a guy most people thought could have and should have gone 1-1.
With the 3rd pick of the 2025 MLB Draft, the Seattle Mariners select Cade Anderson, a left-handed pitcher from LSU.
Of all the things that Rob Manfred's not good at, put this one on the list. He is terrible at the draft. He does not announce the picks well. He screws it up. The East Coast bias of saying things like, from Bend, Oregon. Like, he just, I don't know. It's ugly.
They blow the draft in general. The whole, like, slotting thing you were going through, I've been a fan of baseball for decades. I don't get it. I don't know why they do that.
Yeah, they're old rules that they just, they have reasons behind it, but it almost never seems to be ease of understanding for the fans.
No.
And it allows, for some gatekeeping of baseball. It's too bad. Regardless, Kate Anderson's opposite of that. This is a tremendous, tremendous opportunity for the Mariners. Kid's really good. 21, went 12-1 last year at LSU. 180 strikeouts, dominated at the College World Series, where he finished winning the championship with a complete game shutout. He talks a little bit here about who he is as a pitcher.
Yeah, I think I give a lot of credit to my coaches at LSU. For me to be where I'm at, I wouldn't be where I'm at without them. And I have a four-seam fastball, curveball, slider, and changeup. And last year I didn't have a slider, and I think the slider for me has been a really big upgrade for me. And I think that's why I'm at where I'm at. And being able to talk to y'all as the third overall pick is a big reason why it was that slider. And
sounds like a pretty confident kid as well. Not a huge surprise. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It's a really, really good pick for the Mariners, and he is the most polished pitcher in the draft as well. Joined us earlier. Also like what they did at pick 35. Big left-handed power-hitting catcher out of North Carolina. Kid's name is Luke Stevenson. That's a Cal Raleigh mold right there. He's got the same big dumper. And maybe that's a Harry Ford replacement as soon as, 3 weeks from now. Second rounder, high school shortstop Nick Becker out of Jersey. And in the third, they get a pitcher from UMiami with more losses than wins and an ERA over 4. But I'm guessing they like one thing about him, which is how he ends up as like a Brian Wu type selection in that spot.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Al in the Derby both. And I think you're right. Strategically, he should be trying to take advantage of the park from the right side. He's just so comfortable on the left side. So I'll be really curious how he starts.
I think he might actually be this year more comfortable from the right, which is crazy because that really was his weakest side. Either way, going to be fun to watch tonight. The Derby's just such a cool fan. That's something baseball gets right. The fan experience of the Derby is just super fun. We went to it a couple of years ago. It was a blast. It was really fun to go to as well. And then just a little congrats to Randy Arozarena replacing Julio on the AL squad for tomorrow night. I like this from Julio. Shannon asked him about this after the game on Saturday in the walk-off interview.
To be honest, like the morning before we went out to breakfast and we talked a little bit about my decision and all that. And I thought he deserved it. And I'm very happy and proud of him. Everything he has done for us throughout the whole year. And I hope he enjoys it and give the best out there and represent us like I know he will.
That's pretty cool. Those guys chatting about it at breakfast.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And talk about a trade, midseason trade that's started to pay real dividends. That one's looking very good for the Mariners, and this is heading towards one of the best seasons of Randy's career.
Right now it is, at least on paper, that's for sure. That's everything you need to know. There's plenty fairly. One criticism I occasionally will see, I even saw a text about it this morning. I really hope Mariners are not scared as usual to go after it at the deadline. Like, the Mariners had the best deadline in baseball last year. They got Randy Arozarena, Justin Turner, and Jimmy Garcia. The year before wasn't great, but the year before that, they went out and got Luis Castillo. Like, in 2 of the last 3 years, the Mariners have had the best deadline of anybody and been very aggressive. So I don't know. There's plenty to criticize. That one's not fair.
Now, I know this won't be popular, and we absolutely want to make a big deal and improve the lineup, but the second on that list would have been Cole Young. That's a guy that, for me, is really taking some steps forward. And if you look at his OPS month by month, it goes 650. Then in June, 599. In the last 15 days, it's 838. In the last 7 days, it's 1254. This guy is figuring it out, and I think is going to be a guy that can continue to grow. I love what Williamson's done for them at third base. I know you should get more offensively, but he's had some big hits as well.
Well, and that's why, someone like Gino is a 2-month rental. Like, you're not giving up necessarily on the future of him as a third baseman. You're saying, all right, for a stretch run, I want Gino Suarez to hit a bunch of home runs. That's more valuable. But well said, and that fits the Cole Young story. That's what he's done at each level. Struggled a little bit to figure it out, and then all of a sudden, once he gets it, you start seeing why he's a top prospect like he is. All right, that's Brian Nemhauser. That's HawkBlogger, who is in with me here for the last couple hours. We got about 20 more minutes or so left. I've got a little Seahawks game to play, and we'll finish with some Mariner conversation in here as well. So, Sounds and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Jordan Schusterman every Wednesday morning at 11 with Bump and Stacy on Seattle Sports.
How do you foresee this rotation shaping out before the All-Star break?
I certainly don't think that's the last we will see of Emerson Hancock this season. I will be interested to see if Logan Evans can make a push to replace him at some point, how they kind of go back and forth between both of those guys. I think from a workload standpoint, I have to imagine they want to be a little bit more careful with Evans.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Mike Salk here. Look, it's hot. It's going to be really hot this week, like the temperatures in the 90s by Wednesday. So if your house starts boiling and you start really feeling it, it might be because you don't have enough insulation. That's why you call Crawl Pros, get them to come out and take a look at all of that. Yeah, right. In the winter, without insulation, your house is freezing. And in the summer, you need that insulation to keep your house cool. If you don't have enough, here's some good news. Utility companies have special incentives to help out, including Puget Sound Energy customers. If your home was built before 1990 and you're a customer of theirs, you could get a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yeah, 95%. That's a big deal. You got to call Crawl Pros to learn what's going on back there. They can help with any of those things. So if you're worried about bugs or ants or water damage or mold, insulation, anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com to schedule a free inspection. That's crawlpros.com.
Upgrade your heat pump or air conditioner right now and save up to 25% during Home Comfort Alliance Warehouse Clearance Sale. All remaining 2024 heat pumps and air conditioners are now up to 25% off. Visit homecomfortalliance.com today.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Summer is the perfect time for a new roof. Take advantage of our easy financing, summer specials, and the best warranty in the business. Have a great summer. See you next hockey season. Trust Techline.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible, overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Saturday night, October 25th. Experience the thrill and excitement of high-energy mixed martial arts. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this amazing professional mixed martial arts event, the World Fighting Championships, October 25th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Hey golf fans, Jordan Babineau here. Get ready for an unforgettable weekend at the 2025 Boeing Classic. Come see Masters champions and Hall of Fame golfers battle it out at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge, August 8th through the 10th. Bring the whole family and check out Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Plus, celebrate 20 years of the Boeing Classic, supporting the Benaroya Research Institute at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. It's more than just golf. It's an experience you won't want to miss. August 8th through the 10th. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BlowingClassic.com for more.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Robert. Robert, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I heard an ad, and my wife and I had just got our policy renewals from our previous provider, and everything had gone up quite a bit, 30-40%, so I thought I'd give it a try. It was a pleasant experience, very easy. It only took a couple of days to get the good news back.
And were they able to save you money?
Yeah, we were able to save well over $1,000. Not only did we save money, our agent found that we had some gaps in coverage, and they were able to not only save money, but improve our coverage.
Well, now you can be a good friend, and you can tell everybody about it.
Well, I have. I've, in fact, passed it on to a couple of my good friends, and they're taking the challenge as well. So it's been great.
Robert did it. My family did it. Now you got to do it, and it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you could be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me.
Our strategy with pricing is not to be the highest price and not to be the lowest price, but to be a really good price and to provide a really good experience to the customer.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. Afterwards, I think, as he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff. It was just really sweet. It felt like we were truly helping.
Receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or a service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family and hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
You hear it from one person, and then another, and another. You come to realize it's not a script, it's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Brian Nemhauser, HawkBlogger, in with me. A little Stranglehold, Ted Nugent. A song that's on my list of the songs that you have to stay and listen to until the end because they get better as they go along. Like the end of the song is better than the beginning.
Do you
aren't
have
that
much
many of those.
say in what the songs are playing?
Not each time. I am somewhat responsible for like the library of songs that we play there, but I do not choose them each break.
Does Brock contribute to
Brock
this?
contributes zero, other than not knowing any of the songs, who they are, what they're about, or anything else related
That
to music.
tracks. That tracks. Okay.
But that one's on my list along with like Stairway to Heaven, Paradise City, Freebird, and maybe one other of like
Queen's got a couple probably in that.
that get better towards the end. Yeah, you could say that about Bohemian Rhapsody. Might be,
Exactly.
if it's on, like, well, I got to listen to the end part because that's
Yeah.
the best part.
Yeah.
All right, that could be a top 5 right there.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good top 5. All right, well, that used to be a game on this show. We used to play ranked. We don't do it anymore, sadly. But we do have a buy or sell, and I've got an all Seahawks version for you
Ooh,
today.
Let's do it.
All right, Seahawks buy or sell. So, you understand how this works?
Do I buy or sell?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
Awesome.
I'm going to tell you something, and you can determine whether you would buy it or sell it.
Okay.
I'll do the same, but you get to go first. The Seahawks will have a top 5 defense in 2025. Buy or sell?
That's an easy buy.
Top 5.
Absolutely.
And you can measure what would you look at? What metric?
Well, so I think points per game is the most important metric for any defense. And, as I told you earlier, top 5 last year with all the problems in points per drive against. So, the last half of the year,
Where were they in points per game overall last year?
I want to say they were like 11th, something like
Just
that.
outside the top 10.
So I'll double check that. But this is a team that after Mike McDonald got the personnel he wanted, he was able to adjust the scheme. They were top 5 defense by almost any measure: EPA, points per game, yards per play. So they're already there. And Mike, I don't know if you know this, they were the best defense in the NFL last third downs by a lot of different measures. And if they can just figure out their early down defense, run defense in particular, and I think they've made some move with DeMarcus Lawrence being a key part of that, it sets up their pressure. It sets up so many other things.
Yeah, it is worth saying, for all that I've talked about the need for another edge rusher, DeMarcus Lawrence isn't that really anymore. He's much more here to do what you just said, kind of set the edge on the early downs. I'll buy this, but it's not with a tremendous amount of confidence. I think they can get into the top 10. I feel much better about that. I asked, Kenneth Walker leads this team in carries.
I love this one. Not only will I buy this, Kenneth Walker is going to have his best season of his career. I think that this is an ideal fit of an offense for him. I think that he's finally got an offensive line that's going to be coached to understand exactly how it's supposed to be run. And Seahawks fans will remember, Tom Cable connected with Marshawn Lynch in 2011, halfway through that season, and helped him understand how important it was for him to hit a specific hole at a specific time. Marshawn Lynch was a completely different player after that. John Benton, that Seahawks coaching staff has to have that same conversation with Ken Walker about running within the scheme of the offense. If they do, I think this guy's going to be a monster.
Totally disagree with you on every part. I've taken Charbonnet all day, and while everything you said makes sense, and Walker's got that home run hitting potential, they're both picked around the same spot in the draft. There's no reason that Walker should have like this job for life. The biggest problem offensively is that they don't look right now like a team that can convert on 3rd and long at all. Like they just don't have that kind of weaponry. Well, what is Kenneth Walker? Boom or bust? Like he might hit you for 25 yards, but there are going to be some real misses in there. This team can't afford that. They need Zach Charbonnet and 4 yards, much more often on 1st and or 2nd down to set up better spots. So if I'm the Seahawks, I'm using Charbonnet a whole lot more than Walker, and I'll guess that he leads them in carries, plus Walker tends to get hurt.
Let me give you one more thing on Walker. If I told you he was the most elusive running back in the NFL last year, would that surprise you?
It would certainly not fit what my eyes showed me.
He had one fewer forced missed tackle than Saquon Barkley in half the snaps. This guy, he and Charbonnet were getting contacted behind the line of scrimmage more than any other back. So if that Charbonnet comment, it is a pro Seahawks running comment, and I think Charbonnet and Walker are poised to have maybe a really dynamic duo kind of season.
Buy or sell, Sam Darnold starts every game for the Seahawks this year.
I'm buying that as well. Wow. I'm buying that as well.
Crazy talk over there.
I think that Sam Darnold is the starter for this team, independent. I heard this one sports radio guy ask a coach about that. So I know.
Making sure. Now you know. See, now you can say it with great confidence.
I'm not going to tell you it was a crazy question to ask me that, but I am going to say that.
Good question.
That, they're absolutely going to give every opportunity, unless the season goes sideways.
Yeah.
I don't see it, and I don't see him getting injured. Like, I'm not going to predict an injury. They're not looking for Drew Lock to come in there, and they're not looking for Jalen Milroe as much as
I agree with you. I'm still going to sell it, though, just because I think it's so hard for quarterbacks to stay healthy for a whole season. You're right. They're going to give him every opportunity. He's the starting quarterback. The interesting question would be if Sam Darnold gets hurt. My hope is that by mid-season or so, if he were to get hurt, that answer is Jalen Milroe.
There is no player that I saw make more progress from first rookie mini camp to the last veteran mini camp than Jalen Milroe. He really took steps forward in terms of his precision, in terms of his footwork and mechanics, his throwing motion. If he can make that kind of progress in that short a period of time, I mean, the arrow's up there, and I would love to see him get a full year and maybe get a few sub-package snaps. But, yeah, I don't think it's crazy that by the end of the year he might be the guy.
That's kind of fun. All right, well, then along those lines, buy or sell. Seahawks draft a quarterback in the 1st round next year.
That one I'm selling. I think that the Seahawks are going to find enough in the guy that they drafted last year that they're going to want to continue to, this year I should say, in Jalen Milroe, that they're going to want to continue to invest in him and not necessarily block him by bringing in another player. I also think that Sam Darnold, as long as if they win 10, 11 games and they've got a quarterback room with Sam Darnold and Jalen Milroe, I think they're going to be perfectly happy with that. I don't think they're going to bring in a 1st round pick unless something crazy happens, like they're able to draft a guy that falls to them. Maybe that.
I might buy this. I might disagree with you on this one too. And look, it's obviously a long way out, and there's so much has to change between now and then. I just think next year's class is going to be good. And not that I don't like Sam Darnold, not that I don't like Jalen Milroe. Those are interesting guys, but Milroe's a 3rd round pick who could be nothing or nothing more than a gadget. And Darnold is not in the top 18 according to everybody out there in terms of what's available in the league right now. So yeah, I'll buy it. If you have an opportunity to go get a great quarterback next year in the 1st round, they should take it.
If Darnold flames out this year, then it's absolutely something that could happen. I'm not assuming it's going to be that bad.
I would agree with you. I just don't know. Were you here or did you hear our what if last week? This was Wyman and Bob do their What If Wednesdays, which I love. I think it's a fun thing, just sort of like going down another road, sliding door style. And this was this was after Kirk Cousins said, "Hey, if I had known they were going to draft Penix, I would." All right, well, what if that had happened? What if he'd stayed in Minnesota? They still draft J.J. McCarthy, but they don't sign Sam Darnold at that point. Where is Sam Darnold last year? Does he do much of anything without Kevin O'Connell, without Justin Jefferson? Maybe he's a backup somewhere and plays a couple of games. How do the Seahawks handle it if and when it goes south with Geno? Like, that's a fascinating what if.
There's a bunch of those. I mean, if Pete Carroll did not talk his way back into the NFL, Geno Smith's still here. I don't think there's another place where he's landing. I think if Matt Stafford and the Rams hadn't come to agreement and Stafford had gone to Vegas, I think Geno Smith's still here. I don't know where Sam Darnold is. So there's a lot of those that are very close to possibly happening.
Man, if Darnold wasn't available, but Pete was there, and they still trade Geno,
it would have been a real tough sell.
He wouldn't have come though.
He would have.
You think so?
I 100% think so.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I would have been here with a sign every day protesting.
You wouldn't have been alone.
Brian Nemhauser from HawkBlogger. Fans are satisfied this year by Clint Kubiak.
Oh, sell. Sell. I mean, I assume you're talking about right now, not by the end of the year.
No, by the end of the year.
By the end of the year?
No, not right now. By the end of the year, if we take a poll, fans will say, yeah, I generally like the job that Clint Kubiak did as the offensive.
Sell. Yeah. I think I'm gonna still stick with sell because offensive coordinators are like the opposite of backup coordinators. Darren Bevel, Darrell Bevel was one of the more successful Seahawks offensive coordinators. I don't know most Seahawks fans could even name him at this point, and he wasn't that popular when he was here. So, it's a tough position, and he's working against a lot of things. It's a lot of new people, not a lot of new coaches, all having to come together in the same season. Yes.
I'm going to agree with every word of that, and I'm going to sell that fans will be satisfied by Kubiak, but doesn't mean he'll have done a bad job. Yeah. And I'll probably get mad about him at some point, too. I'm in that category of people that likes to complain about offensive coordinators. That is a little game of buy or sell with Brian Nemhauser. Pretty fun.
Did I win?
Did you win? I don't know. What do you think? Did he win? You're the game show expert, Charles.
Yeah, I would say that everything is all completely neutral here.
Okay.
I see.
True neutral.
All right, I'll take it.
Charles, you can turn down the music. You are the, I mentioned earlier, we got no Brock, we got no Mora, we got no Lyle for a couple days here. Brady Bones filling in for Mora. Charles is filling in for Lyle. And Charles is a game show aficionado. You know more about
took
game.
The words right out of my mouth.
Is that the right word, aficionado?
Aficionado.
Yeah. You know a lot about game shows, more than anybody else I know.
I sure do.
You were not only on Wheel of Fortune, but won Wheel of Fortune. And we've talked about this quite a few times, but Charles actually showed me the video evidence today. So I got to see him winning, hugging his mom. Pat Sajak's all excited. It's pretty awesome footage. I mean, what a moment for you.
Sure is a moment, and I gotta tell you, in my episode during the first toss-up puzzle, my mother thought I twitched and rang him by mistake in the toss-up round, but I did solve it right.
And it was
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
4 letters out of 24 revealed.
How about that?
Is the bigger skill in Wheel of Fortune the spin or the solving of the puzzles?
Oh, I would say the biggest skill is spinning the wheel because the wheel is actually quite heavy than people actually predict.
So did you have a strategy on your wheel spinning to avoid bankrupt?
Oh yes, I just tried to spin as hard as I could,
okay.
And hopefully I'll have Lady Luck smiling on me because I don't want to hit either bankrupt or lose a turn.
Here's my question for you, Charles. After hearing that whole buy or sell segment, how are my game show hosting skills?
I would say you're practically up in the ranks, close to the legends there.
Whoa! How about that? And
My
the legends
goodness.
are whom?
I would say either Pat Sajak, Bob Barker, or Alex Trebek.
Okay.
Yeah, Barker was the man.
You don't put Chuck Woolery on that list? He's not quite in the legend category.
Oh, I would put Chuck on there too,
Okay.
because he did host a show called Love Connection,
Yes.
and he always does this. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
Yeah, 2 and 2 is good. I kind of wonder, like Ninja Warrior, how people like they reconstruct all the obstacles to practice before they got. Did someone have like the heavy Wheel of Fortune wheel somewhere that you could practice before you get in there?
Interesting.
Oh, that's an interesting question, but I'm pretty sure of all the contestants of American Ninja Warrior, they really got to practice before they can get ready for the real thing.
Yes.
We've been watching BattleBots at home recently.
That's a solid show.
So my
Yeah.
daughter and I got into it. She went to a BattleBots camp last week, and they like built a little bot.
Nice.
So we started watching the BattleBots. It's kind of awesome. I love how seriously they take it, especially the in-ring announcer guy.
Did she go for like the tank that just takes a lot of damage, or like the attacking?
Hers, I think, had some attacking elements to it. It had a claw as well, which was sort of exciting. And then actually, you know what I ended up watching Friday night with my other daughter was the boxing match. Are you into boxing at all?
Not a lot, but I've watched it.
So I'm not into it. Like, I don't follow it. It's so hard to follow, especially these days. But I watched the Tyson-Jake Paul fight last year because every Gen X person had to watch it. And that
was a hard watch.
It was awesome, and it sucked at the same time, right? But the best part of that night was the women's fight right before it, where they were just beating the you-know-what out of each other. I mean, there was blood everywhere. So those two had a rematch, their third fight, on Friday night on Netflix. And we ended up watching it. It was awesome. It was super entertaining again. Not as good a fight as the last one, at least from like a aggressiveness standpoint, but just in terms of like technical, it was still really good and entertaining. It was an all-women fight, like 4 different fights, all women, and it was the level of boxing is superb. It was great.
You know what I'm bummed I missed yesterday? The Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers rematch.
Wasn't much of Caitlin messed her up.
I know. And I don't know if you heard their post-game comments, but Caitlin Clark, as usual, super magnanimous, very complimentary of Paige Beckers. Someone asked Paige Beckers about how Caitlin kept stealing the ball and was just tight-lipped about it. And it's like, what does she have to do to like not be public enemy number 1 in that
So
league?
I don't know the answer to that question, and I'm a huge fan of hers. By the way, I like Paige Beckers too. I think she's a really good player. My daughter is, like anyone of her age, super excited about anything that Caitlin does. There's got to be something behind. Like, there's got to be something she does that is a turnoff to the other players.
Yeah.
Some of it, I've talked about it with Brock before. I'm sure some of it is the challenge for many of them who were there a long time, especially players who are, of a different race than her, saying, hey, I've been doing this forever. This one gal shows up and immediately, like, nothing we ever did mattered. She's the only thing in the world. I get that there's some understandable frustration there.
Yeah.
I think that ultimately they're totally within their rights to be frustrated, but I would hope that they also recognize she plays the game the right way and she's making life better for all of them. Both those things can be true at once. I don't know what Paige Becker's problem would be other than she keeps beating you in big moments.
Yeah. Well, and the evidence to me that it's not a Caitlin Clark thing is her own teammates. I think last year, if you watch the first few Fever game, they did not seem to trust her or like her. And then by mid-season, like the chemistry there really built. So I think it's just people that don't know her maybe, but man, it's fun watching the WNBA
really
right
helped
now.
when they when Aaliyah Boston kind of started to figure it out,
man,
and when
the
they
two of
made the
them.
coaching change and all that. Hey, 5 minutes left here, not even 3 or 4 minutes left. I want to make sure we just kind of end this talking Mariners. Brian Nemhauser's been great here over the last couple of hours. If you missed Johnny Bench, that kind of started the day at 7:30. The Hall of Famer, the greatest catcher of all time. He was A+ in my book. Just such a cool interview. So find that later at seattlesports.com or on the app. Tomorrow is going to be a huge baseball day. Jim Abbott, one of my personal heroes, is going to join me at 7:30 tomorrow. His E60 premiered last night. One-handed pitcher and just giant influence on me, helping me get back into baseball after I kind of lost the use of my left hand when I was 12 years old. And then Shannon Dreyer and Jason Churchill, Prospect Insider, going to join me for a 2-hour tomorrow, so a lot of baseball to finish up. These Mariners over the weekend, I mean, that was revelatory in what they did. I have no clue if it's going to carry into next week because nothing they've done at any point this season, good or bad, seems to carry with them at all. But, man, it was a whole lot more fun to watch.
It was. I mean, that team, when they're swinging, and so much more fun. The last 20 years, it's been so hard to watch them at times because their offense has been maddening. I mean, the Felix years especially. But now you come out of the All-Star break, and who do you get to start?
Mm-hmm.
You get the Astros.
Yep.
That series, talk about a tone setter for the second half of the season. You better show up in your home park and you better win that series. You don't have to sweep, but you better win that series.
Win that series, you're only 4 games.
Thank goodness, because the Astros just weren't losing.
I know.
For a long time.
But they're not that good. That's not a great Astros team. They put it together and they're not a bad team, but I've never really been sold on them. As for whether or not the Mariners thing is sustainable, look, they're not going to score 35 runs in 3-game series very often. No, I don't.
Come on.
Any more than I think what they did against Pittsburgh is going to happen very often, where you don't give up a run for 3 games. But one thing that you could take from that series that you would hope is sustainable, it's that Julio had his breakout. And, definitely be talking about that with Shannon and Jason tomorrow, because for all that Cal does, for all that this lineup can do, for all the pitching does, they still are going to, if they're going to truly be a contender, you need Julio to be something akin to what he's capable of.
If Julio does that, I don't care whether they win the division or not. They can beat anybody in the playoffs.
That's true.
If he figures that out.
Yeah.
That plus, Kirby and Gilbert settling down. Maybe you get one more starter. Maybe Bryce Miller comes back. Maybe somebody else figures it out. That's what really matters for the rest of the season.
This is fun, man. Thank you.
Thanks for having me,
This
man.
was
It's
great. Remember, you can find all of Brian's stuff at HawkBlogger.com and on all of the social media channels, and there's various YouTube and video. It's nonstop. There's a lot of HawkBlogger out there.
More exposure than people need. And head over to hbtix.com, by the way, the best place for your Seahawks fans. I don't get anything for it. I'm just trying to facilitate Seahawks fans selling to other Seahawks fans.
We should have spent more. You know what? You should have reminded me. Darn it. I would have spent more time on that today. It's a cool deal of what you're doing. Well, we'll definitely have you back. This was great. Thanks for coming in and offering thoughts, not just on the Seahawks, but on the Mariners and the rest of the sports world as well. Tomorrow, as I said, Jim Abbott and Shannon Dreyer and Jason Churchill. So another pretty cool lineup tomorrow. And then Brock will be back on Wednesday, and we'll talk to Passon on Wednesday, a little day late. Just he had some stuff going on with the All-Star break. Enjoy the Derby tonight, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Until then, the hay is in the barn. See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Everyone always asks me, what were your top reasons for choosing Advanced Hair? Well, allow me to share, along with some details on, get this, their once a year summer savings event. Okay, first off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and I'm living proof those results are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that blew away my expectations. And lastly, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. It is quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair's summer savings event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details to schedule your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Hey golf fans, Jordan Babineau here. Get ready for an unforgettable weekend at the 2025 Boeing Classic. Come see Masters champions and Hall of Fame golfers battle it out at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge, August 8th through the 10th. Bring the whole family and check out Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Plus, celebrate 20 years of the Boeing Classic, supporting the Benaroya Research Institute at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. It's more than just golf. It's an experience you won't want to miss. August 8th through the 10th. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BlowingClassic.com for more.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna